Hey, Adam. Freddie. Hey, Kate. Okay, so this is saying there's going to be a little bit of a slow connection, so I'm going to see if I'm going to jump over to my data. Don't panic. Hey, David. Just give it a second. There we go. Sorry about that. Last couple of times I had to do the show off of data and not my internet, which is a little awkward, but neither here nor there, I suppose. I was waiting for the guys. There's a possibility that Caleb will be a little late. He is at his daughter's soccer game. Hopefully she is kicking butt. All right, let's see here. Okay. Target Wi-Fi, is that what it is? I heard they have a new CEO. Hopefully he'll fix that then. Mr. Newell, how are you? I feel like a Lone Ranger right now. It's all about me. So I have a 12-year-old rescue pit, and she is trying to roll in a bed, and she's not really that good at it because she's really not that agile. She's a hot mess, that one. Yes, you. I know, Kate. She's 12, and it's just, oh man. Ah, here we go. Our man of the hour should be you. So she does roll, Kate. She does roll off the couch. Hi.
Hey.
Oh, we are very, very close right now. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, you're all up in the camera.
I have to like lean back a little bit. Oh my gosh. So how are you this evening?
Good. Get ready to make a cocktail before we get started. So
I already got my wine.
yeah, Aperol Spritz right now, so we're good.
Oh, so still on the spritzers. What is your wine of choice?
No, this is Aperol Spritz. Gotta do Campari, Aperol.
Okay.
Not all of it.
Ah. So not a wine spritzer, but a true spritzer. I like it. I'm here for it.
A lot of
I think.
champagne.
Yeah. So I'm on a wine kick right now. I haven't. I was doing beer for a while, and now I don't want it anymore.
Yo, what's up? Man, you mean to tell me we got Dave on time?
I'm
He on
early.
Woo!
time tonight?
You
Yeah.
late,
Now we're
man.
missing Caleb on time.
What's up, Dave?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Now I'm
Can't
just like
complain.
way far away. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Oh man. So I was telling everybody earlier that Caleb is at a soccer game at the moment, so he might be a little late. But he'll be logging on as soon as he's done with that. So hopefully she is killing it. But honestly, we kind of like to get the ball rolling, and then when he joins, I know he's got some questions and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and start. So it'd be weird if people didn't know who you were, but we always like to kind of start it with you introducing yourself and just taking it from there and letting us know your accolade, and we've got some questions after that. But go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
All right, I'm Dave Wilson, president of ABKC, one of the founders of the American Bully, the Razor's Edge bloodline, Scorpio, 28 years old. No. Okay, I'm lying a little bit. Yeah. So
Oh, a Scorpio. Oh, that makes sense.
that,
Oh, I love it.
that was that was the truth part. Yeah.
You'd be like, you should put that in your Tinder profile.
Yeah.
So we are truly honored that you're sitting down and talking dogs with us. We've had you on a couple times so far, and we've had a blast both times. So again, this is very, very exciting for us. There's been some new things recently this year, including a new location for nationals, and then a couple of new things within the ABKC itself. So I kind of wanted to start, and I don't know, Bruce, if this is something that you kind of you're cool with us starting with the location of nationals and kind of what set that into motion.
Okay. Well, the people set it in motion. That's the truth to the story. I mean, we were dead set on keeping it in Houston. We love Houston. Like I said, Houston it's a simple place to go. We work well with the venue, hotels attached to the venue, two
Right.
international airports, 20 minutes. So, we've had issues over the years when we move now around. Just all kinds of issues, from not being able to source certain things to issues with people not understanding the type of event and possibly issues with trying to cancel the event.
Right.
Issues with not having enough of a dog culture area to where you have
Mm-hmm.
dogs and not just relying on all the ones coming in from out of town. So Houston has worked out amazing, but the people said they want something else. Our community said they want us to move it. They want different locations. They like the idea of traveling somewhere new to nationals. So we're experimenting with a new location this year. I think the idea is we will rotate years. Every other year we'll go back to Houston. Again, if it was my choice, Houston would still be the home. So we put up a vote this year, and we hit all kinds. We had all kinds of different options, from California, near the Los Angeles area, to Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah, Chicago, Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky. There's a whole bunch of different places that we had, and the people
Definitely.
overwhelmingly they were Savannah, Georgia. And me, I had never been to Savannah, Georgia. I know what it is, but I've never been there. So I took a
Right.
trip, went there and sourced out a venue, and they had a beautiful venue. And then I decided to follow and go down and check out the area just to make sure it was, a good area for that. And I honestly fell in love with the city. I mean, it's a gorgeous, fun city. I mean, the people are amazing. It's
Yeah.
a dog culture there, unbelievable amount of history there.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and what's really cool is that everything is downtown. So everything you need is in downtown Savannah. There's a million hotels, everything you need there, every restaurant. Like I said, I forget the amount now, but they told me when I was there, there's
Ridiculous.
90 some or something there. You can walk around the street with your drink, and
Yep.
river separates Savannah. So on the other side of the river is the venue, and the
Yep.
hotel attached to the venue. And it's pretty cool because from the venue you can walk down the water and you can look over at the city, and vice versa. The city, you're looking over at the venue. But it's only a bridge from downtown. It takes like 10 minutes max to get from downtown into the venue. Not even, I think it was 7 when we timed it. It was pretty
You
quick.
have to drive
And
it.
it's,
Like you can also use they have a ferry. I
yeah,
looked that up too. There's a ferry because
all day, I think it's every 20 minutes there's a ferry that is free and just takes you over there.
yeah,
But I don't think that would be the way I'd go to the dog show, because I'm not sure I'd want to
naturally.
straight up on the ferry.
Unless you're just
Yeah,
going to go. But yeah, if you've got stuff,
yeah. But what I really loved about it was the parking. I mean, the parking lot is literally outside. We chose hall C and D, so we got 2 halls. We're not sure if we'll utilize both yet, or we're going to utilize one or the other. But either way, hall C and D is at a certain end of the building, and it's right in front of the parking. So you can literally go from the parking lot right into the hall, no problem. You don't. I mean, you can either pull out back to the loading dock, or you can, right out front where you park your car. And there's all
yeah.
kinds of outside to walk the dog. So it's I mean, it's really a great venue, and it's a gorgeous venue.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures and everything, and it's become a habit for because Mary Scribner and I we go to nationals together. So literally, the moment you drop the location, luckily it's been in Houston for the last like 3 or 4 years. So at that point, we were able to just knowingly we just needed a date. This time, like obviously it being in Savannah, I automatically started I booked my hotel the day you announced.
Oh wow!
Because I'm neurotic. But I did the research as well, and I went off of because you sat down and talked with Chris James about it, and so using the information that you did in a conversation with him, I picked a place I didn't pick the Westin that's attached, but I don't bring dogs. Like I go there to film, I go there to interact and to interview, and so I don't have a lot of stuff. So it's okay for me to be on the other side of the river and take that ferry that doesn't stop running until 10 a.m. people. So you got plenty of time once nationals ends to go over to the other side of the river and start, double fisting it in public.
I don't recommend drinking their national drink though. I'll let you know.
Yeah, don't do that there. Go on the other side of the river afterwards, and then decide to get drunk there.
Warning: do not drink. I don't remember what it was called now, but
there's a drink there. A whole drink. It's
don't mess with that. The ingredients for Robitussin. As soon as I took it, I was like,
just put porky tussin in it. It's gonna be great. Motussin.
Yeah. But yeah. Go over there. I mean, again, for people coming to the show, I'd highly recommend driving over there. That way you have all your stuff in the parking lot. You can stay, it was the Westin right there. You can stay to the hotel attached to the venue, or like I said, it's a short ride. So anything downtown, as long as you're in the downtown area, you're fine. And there's plenty of dog-friendly hotels, motels. It's all right there. So
absolutely. And that airport is really neat. Like it is this it's almost like a surreal, like you land, you come out of the the gate, and you're like, where am I? This is so wild. It doesn't have a very airport feel to it once you actually land and get in to Savannah. So for anybody flying in, that's gonna be a trip. It's gonna be a trip. Definitely enjoy the
it's close to downtown, like 15 minutes from the airport to downtown. So from the airport to the venue is close to 20 minutes, but that downtown where all the hotels, everything is. And it's nice. I mean, Savannah has everything. Literally, it's a walking city. So you can walk everywhere you want to go. And like I said, there's dogs everywhere. It's a really cool city. So I'm excited.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of us in the Southeast that it's only like 6 hours drive for me. And I think Bruce as well. Bruce, how far is Savannah from you?
About 8 hours, 9 hours.
Dang, I forgot where in Alabama you lived. But yeah, I mean, it's, Houston was normally like a 10 and plus hour drive. So normally I'd fly it, but like this makes it so that I'm able to drive it this time, which kind of puts a different perspective on it. So
and
I do.
This is for me.
Sorry, I didn't
Yes, it's very exciting. And I do love also though that like you're also kind of meeting in that middle ground where it's like, if you've got to try it in Savannah this year, and then next year we're going back to Houston. And then after that, do you have any other cities in mind for the year after this 2026?
It's hard. I mean, we're going to put up votes again and do that. I know there's a lot of people that said we haven't been back to the West Coast for a while. And nationals, I mean, the original nationals was in Detroit, and then the next 2 years after that, it was in Los Angeles, and then then we had Vegas was another West Coast thing, and then not like a few years ago we had it in San Francisco. So that's one of the things we'll look to see about bringing it that way. But we're going to put up a vote. Up to the people, what people decide, really. I mean, it's really up to the community. The thing is that we have to make sure that wherever it is, there's enough of a local crowd to to make it worthwhile. 'Cause a lot of people fly in, but the bulk of your people are going to drive or locally.
Right.
You
That's what
got to
makes Texas such a good spot. Mm-hmm.
So we kind of watch the shows all year long too, and see where you get your bigger crowds, and that flips around a lot. It's kind of strange because in the beginning, the West Coast used to be the spot where you had big turnouts, and then the East Coast became the spot and more of the in the ring turnout. Became more of the people that wanted to go in the ring. Then Texas was really big, and then the Midwest is popping too. So now the Midwest is like popping with that. So I almost feel that's where it needs to be. If you're watching the shows and everything, the Midwest is definitely somewhere where I think it'll be. I would love to have it in Orlando, Florida. It's only because I love to go to Florida. So any excuse to bring me to Florida, I'm there.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, no, we got some beautiful, beautiful bowls and great programs in Florida as well, that I know would be easy for them to get to and from. So that obviously would be fantastic for them. It's not as far from Alabama either, so it would also be drivable then. So Florida's good with me. I'm good with that.
One place I would love to have it is Nashville. I think Nashville, Tennessee would be a venue for it. So
absolutely.
I mean, Chicago is always going to be good. Not the hard part of Chicago is the weather, and then you have to factor in, like, if we hit a snowstorm, then all of a sudden all your flights are canceled. So it's
absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
They do certain things, but you got to really think out the whole thing. Another issue with Chicago is, I found this out and nothing against unions, but when you're having events in union cities, it adds a whole nother expense to everything. I think the Chicago venue, in the end, with the union fees, were almost another $40,000 on top of what it would have been regularly just for union fees. And it's difficult in those type of things. Because nationals, we spend a lot on nationals, and it's not one of those events where you really turn around and make back the amount of money. It's normally not that. We see it as an investment in the community.
Putting it on for the people. Absolutely. It's the main event. You're not making money off of it. It's too much as like you're giving people the platform, you're giving people the main stage, the main accolade. So it's like that. The return on it shouldn't be the motivation, so to speak.
No, and if you notice, I mean, our prices at nationals, we've never been outrageous. Our entries are still $20. We've never, even our highest end booths, they're not even, I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, they're pretty straight across the board. Like I think last year was at $350, I think, was for the ringside. And that's for nationals. That was very, very affordable in my personal opinion. But I'm.
Well, it is. Just so you know, our concept when we created ABKC was to try to keep everything affordable for people. Like the registry, we don't make any money on dog shows or anything like that. If anybody knows how shows are run, they're actually the hosts that make the money. We only charge an application fee of like $150 or something like that. So we always did it that. Even judges and reps, their fees are directly to the host, to the rep and judge. Nothing goes back to the registry. None of the entries go to the registry. So we've always tried to make it affordable and to where it's an easy thing to do. So with nationals, we don't want to tax people. We're not looking to make money on the event. We're just looking to make it a nice event for everybody. Even trophies. I mean, now there's a lot of trophy makers out there. No offense to any of them, and there's some beautiful trophies. But we still do the real trophies. The real solid trophies that when you hold them, trophy, not these really lightweight, anything like that. So, and that's quite a bit more money too when you're dealing with that type of resin and, that type of trophy. They're expensive. I think
Yes, they
yeah.
get expensive the more creative that you get with it. So it's and then there's always like you know who you work with, and the consistency is there. You know that the timeline can be met because they've met it years and years back to back, and sometimes using new vendors for that can be
Yeah.
kind of a
Using
little
new vendors
terrifying,
is
especially
scary.
with nationals.
Yeah. And we're set with national. I mean, nationals, it has a certain look. It's different than everything else. So, and I think we like that. We like that it's nationals and it's its own look.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. And
Hey,
the
Dave.
thing is, it's like anything that you win at nationals, regardless, I don't care how small or big the trophy is, it says nationals on it. As far as I'm concerned,
And now is another,
that's
but you don't feel it in your hand. So, yeah, they have weight to them. They're solid. Yeah.
but yes, yeah. I know because when Brad took Wishbone in and got was getting those trophies and everything, I was holding them for him on the outskirts of the ring last year, and I was like, I don't know if he's going to get these back. I mean, but these are heavy. I don't know if I can get these out of here.
Yeah. No, especially the best in show one. That one's crazy.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah, it's the size of the dog.
Yeah.
That
Hey,
boy.
Dave, I got a question. I've been holding back a little bit, but I want to ask you a question, man. The last time we talked, we had got on the conversation about Merle's entering the sanction shows, ABK sanction shows, and you made a statement that a lot of people didn't want Merle's in the ring, out of state, in the state or whatever, but you gave everybody a chance to showcase their Merle you know at the Nationals. And I wasn't there, but I heard it wasn't a big turnout on Merles. If people was arguing, why we can't get Merles in the sanction shows. So anyway, between that time, Merles now are in the sanction shows. So how did that come about? I know we had one guy on what was his name? The spokesman, the spokesperson of ABKC.
Oh,
What's his
that'd be Christopher James, the official spokesperson.
Yes, he
Oh,
came on
oh yeah.
he came on and said, it was a vote. So I was asking him, who was the committee? I mean, the committee, was it a committee vote? So anyway, they are in the sanction shows. So, and this is a two-part question too. So when that came about, what kind of impact or negative impact did you have? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people wasn't happy. Did you have any negative impact?
We had social media negative impact, which was expected, and it's expected from, you know, people that were anti-Merle and have always been anti-Merle. We didn't have anything negative like a decline in attendance, decline in registration, or boycotts, or nothing to that level. It was just more of, comments on social media, and it's the same that with the debate that's gone on the entire time. So it was nothing new. It's still the same voices that were the same voices that were against it. We're still against it, but overall, I mean, I think it didn't receive a bad welcome. I mean, nobody was rude or turned anybody away or gave anybody a hard time about competing with the Merles. And the Merles that have entered the show are nice Merles, and I think we have finally the first champion. So the good thing about it is the quality of Merles that are entering the shows. I'm proud of the breeders who are putting in good quality dogs, and just not your run-of-the-mill looking dogs. So that
Yeah.
part is done. Oh, yeah, I mean, I think there was the same negativity, and I wouldn't even call it negativity in all honesty. It's a 50-50 debate,
Yeah.
and we got that was more vocal during the time when we were putting it out there versus after it already happened.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
for sure. And I think that so at nationals, it was one of those things where when you put it out there, and we had said it on the show multiple times up until that point, and even afterwards, just saying, listen, like for everybody that's been trying to say either one, they doubt that Merles have the grit, they doubt that they have the type, or people that are just like, oh, this is just a gimmick. It's just PR. It's, pandering or whatever. We kept saying the same thing over and over again. Well, bring them out.
Yeah.
If let the dogs do the talking.
Or you missed the biggest one, that it was for financial gain for ABKC, which
Right.
again,
You're registering them anyways.
Well,
they're being
So
registered.
that's what it was all about right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
what the entire time was they were always allowed for registration, right?
Right.
So the profit side of it, we don't profit like I explained earlier about dog shows. So more entries doesn't equivalent to more money for ABKC. More probably for a host, yes, because you have more dogs. So financially, it didn't affect anything by either way. They were already being raised, so that side of it was already happening. And then the argument of, well, if we allow this, they're going to create really poor quality dogs with really bad health effects and all that. And my argument back to that again was, well, they're already registered. So those scenarios they'd already be there. Like you would already see that because nothing has stopped the breeding side of it. And not putting them in shows, in my feeling, would have made that even worse because then you wouldn't be seeing the better quality versions out there.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
That's part of where the debate ran, and it was like all the things that they were worried about. Well, those things were already there. Same with the financial side of it. Like it didn't mean any more financial gain. I know you had a second part question. I was wondering what that was going to be.
Bruce,
Oh,
you have to make a part of that?
well, no, the first part was, who, the first part was, how did y'all say, okay, we gonna let, the Merles in the ABKC ring? Who made that decision?
So if you're asking about the voting aspect of it, the voting aspect was all the judges. And then we have another senior panel. And then right now, we can talk about things later, but we have a new thing that we brought out, which is with Alex Ferrer and Carlos Caicedo, which is representing breeders in the community, and that panel also. So it was a mix of all the panels inside of ABKC, the judges inside of ABKC, the senior staff inside of ABKC, and all of that, who voted, and it was, obviously it was voted in. I will say that where we lacked in the states of showing the Merles, they didn't lack overseas. Europe had big turnouts of Merles. So there was a bigger push from the European market that was saying, we really can't get the nationals. It's expensive and difficult to travel with dogs, obviously overseas on planes, but they were getting big turnouts over there where we weren't here. And that's, and even more so in the XL community. And I will tell you, the crazy thing that happened is ever since the Merle was accepted, the XL community has exploded inside of AB. The XL, huge turnouts now. We're seeing 70 to 80 sometimes dogs, just XLs. What's up, Caleb?
Hey, Miss Wilson, how are you?
All right.
What's up, mate?
All right, we got to start all over. So,
No,
28
don't
years.
worry about him. No, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
we actually, it was
I
my daughter's soccer.
Beach, what else?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did she win? Did
Yes,
she
we
do
did.
good?
Well, it was actually her tryouts, and I'm coaching, so I had to go after. And it was like a fantasy football draft. Well, like with kids in soccer, so we actually had to draft the kids, evaluate them. So,
Did you break any hearts? Hurt any feelings?
well, the kids don't know, so the draft is behind closed doors. But yeah, I think my team's pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm a soccer dad too, so it was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That's
Yes.
choice.
Man, I love it. And now my 4-year-old's going to be playing too. So is my 9-year-old tonight. My 4-year-old's on the 2nd of September. I'll be coaching both of them. So
Wow.
looking forward to it.
Busy work, sir. Busy work.
Good deal.
Yes.
Dang,
Yes,
dang. We were talking about Merles and how it's how the initial effect was, and then he had just started on how it kind of affected the XL community. And so yeah, Dave. So how do you like?
The thing about the XL thing is, I think that a lot of XL breeders, especially in Europe, so even it's kind of strange because as soon as the Merles were accepted, the XL started coming out, and not even necessarily, some Merles, yes, but they were just bringing out all their dogs. So that's exploded. That's like the the bigger thing right now in the breed, I think, is the XLs. That's the bigger up. It was always huge within ABKC. You might not have seen it if you're, you know, like we live on social media and we all have our bubbles, even though we don't know that we have
Yeah,
our. It's,
absolutely.
your bubble inside, your guys' bubble is all different than everybody else's, obviously, but it's unique. You know, the people you're around, you all probably have a lot of the same people, but you don't see a whole nother crowd of people because they might not be in that bubble that
Right.
you're in, or they're not even
Right.
at the dog show. But the within ABKC, the XLs have been huge for a long time. I mean, all over the world, Bossy Kennels is one of the biggest names, you know, in that world.
Absolutely.
And they're huge. You know, and but they never went to dog shows. You know, most of the ones at dog shows were people that had other varieties and also had XLs, but they weren't the solely XL breeders. There had a few here and there, you know, but not as a whole. But now let's just open the door up, and all of a sudden they're becoming the big thing in the show ring right now. So, and it just kind of happened at the same time that we allowed the Merle to. I don't know exactly how that works. I can only think that, you know, they felt more comfortable because a lot of them do breed Merles, and then they
Yeah.
saw that it's a fun environment, started coming out. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, Dave, I got a question. So, what's the quality of Merles that you've seen? And I know it's a 1-year trial. Have you made a decision on going forward whether the Merles are going to stay within the ring?
I mean, we haven't really seen any. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been to shows lately, but you're not seeing anything that's not competitive, you know, in the ring. You know, I mean,
Well,
go to shows and you see those dogs that, you know, we all know the dogs that you look at, like, I'm not sure what this is. If it's a bully, if it's an exotic, if it's a bulldog. Right? And I mean, obviously you've seen some of them in Merle too. And, you know, like they're at shows and they're not in the ring, but they're there. But that's not what you're seeing in the ring. You're seeing true American bullies, nice quality,
Very
you
much
know.
so.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. We saw some beautiful ones. We were at, it was the Bully Marathon, right, Caleb?
yeah.
There was, oh man, like, yeah, there were, I think, 2 or 3 XL Merles there, but there was one Crypto Son. Ooh, that dog. And it was Fam, actually, who, congratulations to Fam. She was handling this Crypto Son, and what a beautiful animal. And it was just one of those things where if that dog had shown up at nationals that year, last year, when you had that showcase, I mean, that dog would have swept.
Well,
Yeah.
here's
Just mopped the floor.
that dog can show up at nationals this year and not be in the showcase in the ring.
There we go. I like it.
Right,
Yeah.
man. So it's just one of those things where, yeah, we've been seeing, you know, definitely very correct and very typey Merles out there more recently, and so I'm liking what I'm seeing. So I like the idea that you're liking what you're seeing now too. So that's definitely promising.
Good
Yeah.
deal. And
And
go ahead. I was going to say
oh, no.
her Fam too, because I saw her post today, and she's a pastor apprenticeship test and all that stuff. So we're excited to see her grow with us. But yeah, sorry.
No, that's literally what I was going to say. I was going to say why we're
I know.
talking about Fan.
Yep,
Like,
fine.
man,
Man,
And yeah,
yes.
love her so
Great
much. Like,
minds
she
think
has been,
alike. Amanda definitely wasn't thinking it.
all men think
he wants to die tonight. I think he just really wants me to come through the camera and just beat him up.
Yeah,
No, Fam
but
is just very well deserving, and I'm so glad that you guys are making her part of your family. She has worked so hard, and being in the ring with her, competing, you know, with her, but also she has shown a lot of mentorship within the community as well, which I absolutely adore about her. So she's going to be a beautiful addition to your team.
not on that, but she was a honored veteran. So she was one of the veterans we honored at
Yep.
national. We're like
Yep.
always every year, and so she was that too. So, you know, obviously thank you for service. But yeah, I'm excited. She's still got to face her 15 minutes with me. So, but that's right at the
uh-oh.
end before we release her.
Yeah.
I give that
Fam,
last
get ready.
yeah.
She's got this. I have faith in her. She's got this. But
Hey,
yeah,
Dave,
that's moment.
I got another question for you. I seen your video when you started the platinum pedigree.
The one on my
So,
only.
huh?
We're talking about something different. Sorry.
No, the platinum. No, the
Yeah.
I'm messing with you, man. Yeah,
But
yeah.
the platinum pedigree, you know, but when you posted that video, you know, it was a lot of people saying that like that was too much because they had too many dogs and stuff like that. Do you have people inquiring, you know, getting the platinum pedigree?
All right, let's talk about the platinum pedigree. That was one of the
There
things
we
I
go.
talk about
Yeah,
tonight.
it's
So
definitely going to be a topic for tonight. So
yeah, yeah. So you opened the can of worms on this one, man. Uh, good one.
Good job,
Good one.
Bruce.
So here's the thing. Let's I want to clarify a few things because there's a few misconceptions out there, and everybody always runs with that money thing. I don't know why they think those things. ABKC, if you really know us, you'll understand. We're not. That's not something that drives us. I mean, we're not ever looking to tax people. We're just trying to do, what the
yeah,
community needs or wants us to do. This breed is riddled with a few health defects that we have now that the breed's been around for what 20 some years now. We're starting to being able to identify the true issues within the breed. So backtracking, we always accept certifications for health, different things, whether it's cardiac, whether it's dysplasia, whether there's a bunch of them, right? And they're all listed. And anytime you have a clear, or a passing grade, you can send those things in and they go on your pedigree. We have codes for all of those things. And these are not additional fees. We don't charge anything extra for that unless you want your pedigree reprinted or something, but it's automatically going to go on pedigree. So we've always accept whether it's cardiac, hip dysplasia, there's a million things, ataxia, there's all kinds of different things that we accept, and we will print those degrees on your pedigree. And that's always been the case. It's always been available. It's always at the top of your pedigree. If you look at your ABKC pedigree, you can always see them. They're not all listed, but they give you enough to where you understand, the degrees that you could get. So those are always there. It's always free. So what we saw recently is that the biggest issues in our breed, really, the biggest three is heart. Heart is the biggest issue in our breed. Dysplasia, and it's normally hips and elbows. Those are the two areas where you're looking at. And those are the biggest issues in the breed right now. There are other issues. There is ataxias in the breed, but not strong, but it's there in certain strains. There's a few different things, but those are the three big ones. So what we thought is we want to create a pedigree that highlights health, good health in the breed, and highlights good breeding practices, DNA profiling the dogs, at least the parents, puppies, So what we thought is if we could create a special pedigree that emphasized those things, health, DNA, then it would be something people could look at and strive for and say, you know what, if that dog has that particular pedigree,
I want
I
it.
know the dog has been tested for the things that it needs to be tested for in our breed. And I know that that breeder has DNA profiled the parents and the puppies and, whatever the case is. And, is doing good breeding practices. So we thought it was just a good way to bring attention to that. You can still add those degrees to your pedigree. You can still add the DNA degree to your pedigree, all of that free of charge. But the platinum pedigree is unique and it specifies just those things. And that's the way you have to have a passing grade, obviously, in order to get that. And when you have those things, then you get a special pedigree. It's a beautiful looking pedigree, by the way. We designed it. It's, cool looking, but it just specifies that. So people are like, oh, you have a platinum pedigree, and that particular dog has gone through the health testing that we
Yeah,
feel is necessary in the breed, and then DNA profiling. So that's the point of it. So,
Okay.
heard people say, "Oh, that's ABKC money grab." No, 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 no. And
Yeah.
the more I think about it, like I don't think the world we're living in today, but everything is sky high right now. I mean, everything's
It
going
is.
just buy.
inflate. Yeah,
You got to buy thousands and thousands of pedigrees when you buy these things, and it's like, to be honest with you, the current state of the breed, I don't think there's enough dogs right now that will pass every aspect of it,
right.
and accumulate the amount of pedigrees that we had to buy, what I mean, just to do this. So it's
Yeah.
something, I doubt that'll ever even break even if money, but that's like, again, I just wanted to dispel that rumor, but that's not even the point of it. The point of it is we wanted to highlight some things that we feel the breed needs. And we felt like by doing that and giving it its own pedigree, then if people would strive for that and people would start to look for that, when you're breeding to a dog, when you're buying puppies from a dog, if you know that the parents have platinum pedigrees, then at the least
Insurance.
of dogs that have been individually tested. So that's what the platinum pedigree is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's,
So
it's
to
almost like an
clarify,
accountability piece.
Pardon?
It's like an accountability piece, really.
Yeah.
yeah. So the
Exactly.
Go
platinum
ahead.
pedigree, you have to have the cardiac test, you have to have the hip dysplasia, elbow dysplasia, and DNA profiles.
Well,
Now, does it
have
have to be? Go ahead.
you have to have hip, heart, and the DNA. Cardiac and ataxia is recommended, but you
Okay.
don't have to. Sorry, not sorry. Let me back up. Cardiac, hip, and DNA are mandatory.
Okay.
Passing, and yes, we accept OFA, we accept pin
Okay.
hip, a bunch of them that we
Thank you.
accept. Um, the elbow and ataxia are recommended. They're printed on that. You'll see when you get this pedigree that they're suggested on there. They're suggested. They're not mandated at the moment. But the other three are mandated. Those two are suggested.
Okay.
And
How
that's
many
what that
dogs
is.
have platinum pedigree right now in ABKC?
I'd say probably in the range of 20 or 30.
Yeah.
Dang,
Not,
okay. No, that's actually, considering how new it is, that's actually impressive.
yeah, I mean, I hope to see it take off more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a start for sure,
Oh, definitely. It's definitely an
Yeah.
assurance. It it adds to, just making sure that, when you're breeding, if you really truly are breeding for the longevity of the dog, for the betterment of the breed, then you know where to look. And, you have a better guarantee of at least making sure that the dog is healthy, first and foremost, which is great.
It's time now. I mean, the breed is here 20 years. It's still young, as I've said a billion times, but it's time. And if we're seeing these issues in the breed within 20 years, then you definitely need to start testing. It's time to really start looking. There's a lot of breeders, and a lot of them might hate me for saying this, but there's a lot of breeders out there that are selling dogs for a lot of money, and they're not doing what they should be doing with the dogs. And that's not going to help our breed in any way, because what's going to happen, like we've seen during the pandemic, is that people mass breed, mass produce, mass sell dogs that are poor quality. And that's part of why you see the problem we have right now. There's tons of poor quality dogs out there right now, and there's tons of unhealthy dogs out there right now. And if you're really putting this amount of money into the dogs and you're spending this amount of money for the dogs, you definitely need something that's going to be healthy and
Mhm.
help continue
Yeah.
to have the longevity. To me, it's pointless to sell a dog for $1 and the dog's got a bad heart, or bad hips.
Right.
I mean,
That
what?
bum sticker is going to die at 5. It's like,
Yeah, and we're not doing any justice to the breed now. And it's time that we also started standing up to the breeders and say, it's not a money grab like it once was. There's a period of time when
Yeah.
people are like, I buy this dog that's selling dogs for it, like the exotic world did. It's almost like a pyramid scam type thing where, like they put out this price and say, my dog selling for $20,000 or 50 or whatever crazy price it is. So everybody to want to breed to that dog or buy something out of that.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like they're going to get that amount of money. And the crazy
Yeah.
thing about during the pandemic, they were actually able to, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
there was so much money floating around that
mhm.
everybody was sitting at home. So it really destroyed the dog industry. Really, really,
Oh,
really
yeah.
hurt the dog industry, and it really hurt the breed. Um, you know, and, like there's a lot of people out there. Dave hates exotic. Dave, I don't hate anything. I just don't support things that I can't see healthy. You know what I mean? I just can't. I can't. I mean, it's just against me. And I see our breed going heavily that direction, because we are all appeal. The mass in our breed is appealing, and it's an eye-catching breed. And we all tend to gravitate towards the bullier. But the problem is, when you start to breed those dogs, you really have to be careful, because you're trying to produce something that is very difficult to produce. You're trying to put a lot of mass and exaggeration, but keep the functionality, keep the
Right.
health.
Yeah.
Right.
Fine,
Yeah.
fine, fine. Just too much, dogs fall apart. And that's what I call
Yeah.
overdone. And that's another word that people mix. They use the word extreme when they really should be saying overdone. And it's difficult. So it's like now we as the community need to step up and say, I don't want to spend that amount of money for something that's not healthy, that's not going to 5 years, that if I take it out in 80-degree weather, it's going to heat stroke on me, or,
Right.
like the dog's so great heavy in the front, and the back legs are stiff as can be, and the hips are tight as can be.
Yeah, super
Yeah.
serious.
And in 2 years, you're gonna have to put wheels on the back of the dog to get around. You know, that's
So much.
That's true.
yeah,
But
Hey,
yeah,
hey, Dave,
yeah.
I got another one for you, man.
All right.
What about the Brazilian breed?
Man, you going to all the rough ones tonight.
Man,
Wow.
I want to
you
know.
picking them
Hey,
like
I'm
like
talking
he
to the
came
man tonight, baby.
prepared, Dave. He came prepared for this.
Yeah, it came from
Bruce
blood.
is for this moment.
So that's it. That's an interesting topic and a tough topic, in all honesty. So let's back up a little bit on that. Just so you know, Brazil's a big country, and
Yeah.
Brazil is a country that is independent of the need of other countries. You know, like everybody, we feed off of China and America, and all the other countries feed off United States. Brazil is kind of an interesting country because Brazil doesn't need anything but Brazil. I don't know if you've ever been there, but they have their economy. They have everything. You know, I mean, produce, meat, everything. I mean, everything is in
Yep.
Brazil. They have it all. They don't need the economy of the rest of the world. They don't really need the trade. So that kind of happened in their dog world.
Yeah.
And in their dog world, they've created their own bubble of dogs based off the American Bully. And what they've done is they've created what was formerly known, or still there, known as Pit Monster. And Pit Monster, there's two different ways of Pit Monster. It's kind of like the American Bulldog, where you have Johnson and oh god, my brain's going shot right now. What's the other one? Johnson and Scott. So
Yeah.
you have more athletic style one or bully style one, you know, and it's the same with a Brazilian Pit Monster. They have one was called Brazilian Pit Monster, the other was called Pit Monster. I can't remember which is which at this moment, but anyway, it's kind of the same scenario. And really, in essence, they're very similar to XLs. I would say their makeup, most of their makeup is 75% or more of XL American Bully. But what they did was with the limited American Bullies they had, they utilized other breeds that they had there, mainly Bulldog type. I don't know if it's American or Oldie, definitely not English, but, you know, American or Oldie. Some of them, you know, might have dipped more in the Mastiffy kind of side, you know, whatever that was. So, but small percentages, you know, 10% of the dogs sometimes, you know, is that makeup. In the beginning, some of those dogs are coming to America and coming with XL paperwork, and you know, we accept American Bully pedigree from UKC as pit bull or whatever, you know. So for a limited time, we were from the Brazilian registries, the XL American Bullies, not knowing that they were what they were. And then when that finally came to light, we had to make a decision and say, you know, either we stop, period, we don't allow any of these dogs, and we're just turning the, you know, sorry, you're not a pure American Bully. 3 to 4 generations back, you have an F1 somewhere, Bulldog Cross or something like that. You know, we all know the history of the American Bullies tainted way back, but that was, once it was established, it should stay established, you know, and we're 20 years down the road now. This is not 20 years down the road. This is 3 to 4 generations behind them, you know. So I met with a lot of different breeders in Brazil. I met with one of their larger registries in Brazil, and I told them, you know, we cannot accept these dogs as American Bullies, even though they're very similar to the XL, and some of them are identical to the XL. Some of them have already been registered as XLs. I said, but we can't go forward with this anymore. My suggestion was, you know, they had a breed in Brazil called the Fili Brasileiro. I don't know if any of y'all know what a Fili Brasileiro is. It's one
I
of the
don't know what
so
that
I
is.
said, so why not y'all run with the name Bully Brasileiro? And that didn't go over well at first. And made it wait. 6 months later, we started getting calls saying, hey, we're definitely interested, but we like the name Brazilian Bulldog, or Brazilian Bull, sorry, Brazilian Bull. And I said, that's fine. That's the same thing. You know, so we can do that. So then I started working with them, and then they were sending their standards and so on and so forth. Anyway, to end that, basically, we've accepted it as its own breed. Yes, we know there was a few that were registered as American Bullies prior to the decision. We made a decision to just grandfather clause those in. It's one of those things that's 50-50. You don't know what's right. You don't know what's wrong. The problem is some of them already have 3 generations below them already, you know what I mean, grandchildren and things like that. So we made a decision. We're not talking very many. We looked into the blood of the ones that were there, and the ones that were there really, I mean, the F1 is pretty far back, and it was a Bulldog, You know,
Right.
so it's
Several generations back. Yeah.
you know, it's one of those situations that it's like you can revoke it, you can turn them all, but figure all the offspring out of them were all bred to American Bully, and then another generation of American Bully, another generation of American Bully. So, you know, we weren't sure, but that was the decision. But that's very minimal. We're not talking less than 10 dogs. So,
Yeah.
and then from that point forward, we decided to accept it as a Brazilian Bull, and that's a breed we're running with. It's a gorgeous breed.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is let it establish its purity with ABKC. Let it do exactly how we did with the American Bully. Let it only be Brazilian bulls, bred to Brazilian bulls for generations,
Right.
and get establish its own purity within ABKC. And then it's something that we could look down the road and say, if these two breeds now have run this long and they're that similar in temperament, I'll get to in a minute, then maybe we could merge the two breeds down the road. The problem is, this is a companion breed, and we all know the issue that went on in the UK, which is still an ongoing issue. In fact, we're still fighting it. Believe it or not, ABKC is still involved in the fight, and we have been granted an appeal. Who knows when that's going to happen? It'll happen
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know what that's going to be, but we're not abandoning that. But we know the bad rep the XL got over there, even though it really was truly XL bullies. It was
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. They can't even identify the breed positively.
right.
So how are they? BSL is just such a
they
stupid name. It's whatever.
term as XL bully for all kinds of things, and it's just ridiculous how that was done. But anyway, so we need to be very careful with the Brazilian bull. If it's its own breed, fine. But if it were to merge later on with the XL American bully, we really have to watch generational temperament things with the breed, because that's the problem. A lot of people look at the physical attributes and they think, okay, hey, you brought this in, or the breed needs this. Like people always say, open the breed again to be able to do this. And the problem isn't just the physical things. The problem is also the temperamental things. And you don't know the temperament of what happens when you're mixing this breed with this breed. And, some of these breeds, some of the American American Bulldogs are still protection bred or farm bred, working bred. And, when you mix a working dog and a companion dog, it's tricky, and it doesn't necessarily know which way your temperament's going to run. So we can't take on that responsibility of saying, let's merge these two things and then still promote it as a companion breed without having the history of time and longevity behind generations to see what the actual temperament of it is. So that's really the bigger issue, is not the physical things. It's more the temperamental things that we really need to watch. So we're going to let it establish its purity within ABKC and give it 5 or 6 years. And we will go back and evaluate where we are in 5 or 6 years from now, and that's really what it is. Like I said, it's, you can debate both sides of things, and there is no right or wrong. I mean, some of it are going to view this as right. Some are going to view this as wrong. I myself have divided feelings on the way it went down, but it is the way it is. And, we're moving forward with two separate breeds.
Yeah. And you've got to weigh what's going to be best for the community and the actual breeds themselves. Because the ultimate result could have been you having to change the breed standard for the XL in its entirety, almost to the degree where it doesn't even, because again, as is, the XL is essentially the pocket and the standard, just taller, right? It's the same standard, the same expectations. But if you start trying to veer it more towards these Brazilian stocks, you're gonna have to actually change the breed standard for the XL, which almost shifts it away from being an American Bully in and of itself. So I actually appreciate the hesitancy to do that, and
100%.
the approach you're taking is definitely cautious enough that people need to actually be paying attention to that, and I appreciate it.
Oh, that's what and again, not everybody agree, but it's time. I had somebody recently was upset because we wouldn't allow them to register as an American Bull, and they, what about this dog? And I was like, that's the situation. Like, once we made this decision, that's it. We're not going back. You cannot breed your Brazilian Bull to your XL American Bully, either or, because it's not a Brazilian Bully and it's not an XL American Bully within our registration. So, anyway. Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely. And then you've got dogs that are and Ice House Bullies actually just brought up a very, very good point. Like they are the XLs, like first and foremost, I'd like to go ahead and say that last year at Nationals, we saw a showing of XLs numbers wise, that was just refreshing. We
Yeah.
saw more XLs this past year than I've seen in a while, and it was awesome to see that. But it also kind of brought into perspective where we are with the XL. And so this year, I've noticed that there has been an increasing trend of dogs like Apollo, um, who Grand Champion Apollo, sorry, who like they are the breed standard. They're as typey as you get, to the point where it's almost uncomfortable. Like you don't even know what they are until they're standing next to a human being, and you're like, "Holy crap, that's an XL!" But
Yeah.
you can't tell otherwise. And so, like he was saying, it's just like that the direction of the XLs that are trying to come out, as of late. I think that that's kind of the trend that we need to start. So I'm hoping that maybe at nationals this year and beyond, we're going to start to see those XLs catching up and to really like closing that gap.
I 100% agree. And I would tell you this, that there's very limited XLs at the shows before this year.
Yeah.
And I would talk to a lot of the breeders, and I said, the biggest problem in the XL is it's lacking type, really. I mean, that's really, in various ways. And, my advice to a lot of breeders will breed back to a really large standard, get the frame right, and then start selective breeding and picking the taller dogs that have carried that frame. And that's how you can, correct the dogs or improve the dogs.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people took that advice and it was working. But what I'm seeing now is that a lot of those XL breeders who already had structure, who already had the substance and all of those things,
Mhm.
are now starting to come out to the show. So now you're starting to see a lot of these dogs that you weren't seeing before. So that's another thing. So there's a lot more options out there. A lot of people might not have realized were out there because they weren't seeing a lot of the XL breeders, and now they are. So, I think that it's only going to get better. Obviously, I mean, you can see it now. It's one of it might be the most popular variety once you really look. If you're not looking at what is tending the shows, but what is registered. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
choice dog for athletes. I can't tell you how many football players, basketball players own
They
American
like
Bully.
big
Where
dogs.
do you are always XLs.
Exactly.
Yeah, they love big dogs, and the thing is and this is a testament to the other two gentlemen here. They really, really strive to bring the XL back towards what it's supposed to be, and like they're breeding into the standard in order to get that compact feel back into the XL, because I mean, anatomy 101, the taller it gets, the longer it gets. And so you have to combat that in any way that you can. And I feel like, just like you said a second ago, bringing it back to a standard dog is kind of your jam. And so I know that Kayla personally has done it. I think Bruce, you've done that as well, correct?
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, I have.
but I noticed there's actually several XL breeders as of this past year have been breeding to Jack, Grand Champion Jack, the nationals winner from last year. So we noticed that there is obviously he's overdone in several areas. There's also another upcoming dog that I haven't seen a lot of XLs being bred to this upcoming dog from Asia, but I have noticed that there's been a lot of attention because he won Asia Nationals, Bazooka. What are your thoughts on the last two U.S. Nationals and Asia Nationals winners?
Okay, that's a good question too. And before you said that, I just wanted to say that the frame is where we're referring to. Like when you're getting the XLs, where they were lacking was the frame, and that's really, really neat. The frame is hard, and when you're dealing with a dog that big, that's a hard thing. And a lot of people were saying, I heard people tell me, "Hey, you need to change standard because you can't breed an XL like that." Well, you can. It's just they weren't, But yeah, you have to focus
Yeah.
on it. So definitely the choices this year from nationals and not really Euro, but Asian nationals were pushing more to the extreme side versus, I would say, a cleaner side. Um, Absolutely nothing wrong with that because we're still talking quality dogs. And sometimes you need to think, sometimes things need to be emphasized to go the right direction. So I don't see an issue. You also have to look at the competition and certain dogs, like Asian Nationals. In all honesty, they had a few quality dogs over there, but not many. And the dog that I really thought was going to be the main runner, in all honesty, was down in weight. Just didn't look condition wise the way the dog looked in America at National. No offense to the owner. I don't know if it was just, one, Philippines is hard because it's a hot climate, very humid climate, very, very hard to keep weight on it. This is actually, in all honesty, not the breed for tropical climates. It really isn't,
Yeah.
I mean, we're pushing the boundaries, trying to breed a bulky, heavy, short-muzzled dog that has definite traits where you run into soft palates, elongated palates. I mean, there's so many factors of this breed that it's not a tropical breed, So that's another factor. So looking over there, I mean, Bazooka is a very nice dog. Bazooka is at what I feel is that final level. Like he's that when you say how far can you go without messing it up, that's Bazooka.
That's the line right there in the sand. Yeah.
And Jack is a line. I mean, Jack is. I mean, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're looking at things, you can tweak. You could say things like, okay, got a little bit excessive wrinkling or this or that, but everybody has a little something. So when we're looking at all theyese dogs, if you're going to critique them, you can critique every dog out there and say he's got this or lacking this or that. So that's what we're looking at, but he's at that limit too. But there's nothing wrong with the limit, because sometimes it's fine to say, this is how far you can go. This is it. This is where you can go. Beyond this, you can't. And if you're at the point, it's still that. You got to look at it like this too. If you're at that point of the line, but still that nice, then that is something to take notice of, because that is giving you a vision of saying, okay, how far can we go to where it's still acceptable, it's still functional, it's still fully. And when you find that dog that is at that point of the line, it deserves its respect, because it's showing you like, this is the limit. This is clearly we can go this far, but we cannot go past that. So there's nothing wrong with that, and I can see the value in that. And I think it just happened to be this year. It just happened to be dogs that were right at that line that are still great quality dogs. And those two events that made it. And, and I watched Nationals. And one of the things, I talked to the judge about at Nationals was, the judge even told me, like, it wasn't completely my first choice. I was torn. But to see that dog at that size and still functional, and to see that dog go around, and there's no other dog that went ring as many times as Jack. None.
Yeah, that's what John was saying.
And yeah, people are, he's burnt out. Of course he burned out at the end. It's 8:00 at night. The dog's been here the entire day. We're talking about big.
He also did the showcase. He was in the extreme showcase too. So he did two shows.
All that. He didn't gas out in the ring or anything. I mean, we were more referring to, and they did the right thing. You took the dog out, cool him down, rest him, because you're about to go back in. Same with an athlete, same with everything else. You get out 100%. There, you got to get, relax, get yourself ready for the next round. And that's exactly what they did. And that dog, big dog, and that dog went around that ring over and over and over and never stopped, never gassed, never did anything. So that dog proved himself. That for all the naysayers, no, that dog proved himself. He proved that I'm this big, this massive, and I'm still here. I've been here since 8:00 this morning, and it's 9:00 at night, and I'm still running around the ring with all the others. The more terrier ones, the more everyone. And as much people like, oh, yeah, but, I hear all this nonsense. I'm like, no, that dog, for a big dog, that dog worked. He worked more than anybody. Yeah. You get out there from 8 to 8, and you run around there.
Well, and there were so many people that are like, oh, but they had like ice packs on them. It's like, I was right there. I was literally 3 feet from them. And that team, first of all, if you're going to take a dog to nationals, please have a team. But the team, all they were doing is like, so say you're mowing the lawn. It gets hot. So you step away for a second. You go ahead, you drink your water, you put your cold towel on your neck, and you're back in 5 minutes. If you did none of that, it would take you another like 20, 30 minutes before you were ready to go back out there, right? All they did, his everything about him was perfectly fine. He wasn't panting, nothing was concaved. There was no heavy frothing. There was the color of the gums and the tongue never changed. He
Yeah,
was
more preventive
perfectly
measures than
fine.
anything.
All
Dog
they
was never
did,
in puberty, and he never
Yes.
got out in the
yeah,
ring.
all they
He was
did was they just made it. They just expedited that cooling and calming process because he had to be back in like 5 minutes after the grand champion class. They had to move him to best in show, so they were on a timetable. So that's all they did was they just expedited the cooling process.
they did
He wasn't falling out.
Exactly.
what a responsible dog owner does. And
Yeah,
and the
100%.
and we're referring to, think about it. We're talking about athletes that when you come off the football field, you come off the soccer field, you go rehydrate, you cool yourself, you rest,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
you spray your icy hot and all your other thing. I got two boys that are soccer boys that made it all the way through college. You know what I mean? So you know what you do when you come
Yeah.
off the field, because you're going to go back on that field. So you prep yourself for that, and that's athletes that we're talking about. And here,
Exactly.
an American bully that I mean, man, that dog made it. I mean, it was over and over and over and over. I swear that dog, like I said, 8 to 9, and that dog moved around that ring and never looked like he couldn't move around that ring. So that's important itself. But my point is, when people say, how far can we go and still have a quality dog, your Jack and your Bazooka, that's your answer right there. That
Yeah.
shows
And the
you
size of the
dog.
rings at nationals is huge.
Bigger.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge.
Some people say it isn't. It is.
It's a big ass. So we want it that way. But again, you don't have you don't have to say, okay, that's what we're striving to produce. You don't have to say that's what ABKC is telling us is what we should be producing. No, that is a quality dog at the highest level of mass and bone and all of that. And if that's the direction that you like or the style you like, that's how you should strive for your dog to be, not beyond or not capable of doing what those dogs are capable of doing. And that's the point of it. So I have no issue with either dog winning this year, and I think it's a good thing in the sense that it shows us, okay, how far can we go and still get it right? Well, now you know.
Absolutely. I like that.
Oh yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
then
And this year, I love the race going down to the end, and it might be the year to excel. Grand Champion Apollo, I got to put hands on him this last weekend, and Lord,
it could
that is a bull.
be this year. This is an interesting year. It could
It's
be,
wide open.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, you got cells out there now that are quality. You've got Merles that are quality. You got some females that are quality. And I'm a female
Grand
person.
Champion Piggy.
Yeah. Oh God. Piggy.
Yeah, Piggy, I love Piggy. Problem Child, I like Nathan's Problem Child. That
Yeah.
was, I mean,
That's
those are two really badass females. And I think Nikki Westbrook, he had a female at Labor Day that was looking
Yeah.
pretty.
For
Oh,
females to race like that, like they go through
Mhm.
heat cycles, their body's changing, and they're still competing at that level.
Mhm.
That's crazy. And if you breed
well,
them,
I'm partial to females anyway. I mean, my whole breeding program was always based off of females, masculine-looking females. That's how I raise his edge, and that's all I even on breeder. So for me, when there's a female out there and she looks nice, it carries more weight to me than a male. I mean, that's
100%.
That's
Dave,
right. Me too.
Dave
Same
Wilson.
way.
Edge Dave Wilson. So I'm part of the girls all the time, especially when they can get out there and
For
stand
5
with me.
minutes.
That's it for me. So, but yeah.
Oh yeah, do from just because I'm not 100% familiar with the history of, but has a female ever won ABKC nationals?
Sweet and Low won national. No. Sweet and Low won the grand champion, the best in breed, not best in show. So yes, a female has won best in breed for the American Bully, but Sweet and Low lost best in show to a bulldog that year, an English bulldog, I think. Yeah.
Damn.
Yes, but
Yeah.
she won best of breed, but yes.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
first
still a
time for
huge
everything.
mark.
It's pretty bad.
Huge accomplishment.
Yeah,
Very much so.
that was a nice dog. A lot. Yeah, I
Huh.
wish he would bring some of his dogs out here again. Nice dogs. So, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the other thing I want to talk about tonight was the new title too.
That's yeah. Okay, yeah.
The platinum. You know what? We said this wrong, man. We said platinum platinum pedigree. It's premium pedigree.
Premium pedigree, platinum grand
Yeah,
champion.
no one corrected it.
Oh, did I say
I
that? Or
knew it was
did,
something. I
I'll
knew it
blame it
was
on the
something like
guys. They
that.
probably said it.
Yeah, y'all set me up for failure on that one. Everybody be y'all know platinum pedigree. You got that. Yeah.
Nobody look at me.
So it's
Oh man.
right on the
So tell me about this new title.
all right. So let's go back in. Premium pedigree is what we talked about. All right. Now,
Yes.
platinum grand champion. So here's the thing. Grand champions are the best dogs of the breed. And the grand champions need to be seen. The only thing they're striving for once they reach the grand champion goal is top 10, which is a big deal, to be the best dog of the year, to have won the most shows of the year, and obviously to win nationals. But aside from that, that's it. And it's kind of a shame because we really feel like we should have some more opportunities for those dogs, because those tend to be are the best dogs,
Right.
the best quality. What we really intended to do was a 3-tier system, kind of like AKC does, where you can have your bronze or whatever, bronze, silver, and gold, or whatever. I forget the way
Whatever they do, yeah.
yeah, the 3-tier system. You get your title, then you have 3 more tiers that you can reach, and that's where we do want to get to, and we really want to get it to that level. The problem is, again, it's still young, and a lot of times, we trying to we think we're further along than we really are, and we think we're bigger than we really are. We're a young breed in a niche market still. So we felt like, let's make it a little harder. Let's make it about grand champion wins, and we'll start with the platinum. And then as years go on and the breed grows and we get more competitive with it, then we'll rethink it and add tiers to it again, But this is the initial time. So what it is you have to win 10 grand champion classes,
Wow.
and you have to win it under at least 5 judges.
Woo.
Wow.
Actually starts September 1st. So we're not backdating anything. Sorry if you've already got all these grand champion wins. It's starting on September 1st, and that's when the platinum grand champion competition begins, and it's based on winning 10 grand champion wins under at least 5 different judges. And it's a lot.
That's tough. I like
It's
it.
kind of, I want it to be tough. Further down the road, we do introduce tiers, and we'll switch things up, and it'll take you through 3 different levels. But for now, in the next couple following years, we're just going to run it with platinum grand champion, let that run for a couple years and see how that works out. And as the breed grows, we can start to introduce other titles and things like that. But at the moment, I think we're still a little young, to give it that many options, So we're running with the platinum grand champion, but it gives them an opportunity to really work for it, and they'll have their own pedigree. They'll get their own certificate, like champion and grand champion. So September 1st, platinum grand champion, 10 grand champion win under at least 5 different judges. That's what that is.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
Dang, that's some work right there, and it's not achievable. That's the thing. It's like if you continue to campaign your grands, you'll make it. I mean,
You'll get there. And the grand truly is the class that's the best. I always look forward to every show I go to. I have a lot to do, talk to people, do things, but I never miss the grand classes. Like I have to be ringside every time, but that's really when you see the quality of the breed,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. There's more reason to continue to compete at that level, so I love it.
Yeah. Somebody's asked me something about Frenchies, but I lost the question already.
yeah, it says with the franchise Frenchies, I think is what he meant. Leaving the AKC soon, will you take the Frenchies out of the ABKC?
No.
First and foremost, this might be the first time I've heard of them removing Frenchies from the AKC in a general sense. I can understand certain categories, but not Frenchies in a general sense, considering the breed club.
No, I don't think and the Frenchies aren't leaving AKC, I'm sure. So
Right, I was about to say that's one of the most
the difference between us and AKC is that we offer more color variations in the breed. That's really the main difference. And competition still, still judged the same. The standard is almost identical. We've always offered the Frenchie, so we're a secondary home for the Frenchie. We're never gonna not be that. So we like to take on a lot of the bulldog breeds, and we've taken on other breeds too. So we're a multi-breed registry. We didn't start out that way, but as soon as the Shorty Bull hit us up in 2006, we brought that breed in. We've allowed other
I love
breeds
short names. Yeah.
grow than
I think,
ABKC.
I love
Some are new and some are.
Blaze.
oh,
Blaze
Blaze
has
is
really attracted
amazing.
me to shorty bulls. Like he is the
Kind of makes you
perfect
consider it,
definition
don't
of
it?
a shorty bull.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's
yeah.
like I didn't really like shorty bulls are kind of like
That
I
is a
knew they were a
cool.
thing, but then you see Blaze and you're like, holy crap, I think I want one. Like, well, so I think I think I know what Gabe is meaning by this. The FCI in Europe, they're changing the breed standard for the Frenchies. They're because there's so many health issues, so they're elongating the snout, among other things, changing some of the structural issues that they've had. So I know the FCI is doing that, but
And
I don't think the AKC is following suit just yet.
so AKC owns, I believe, 1/3 of FCI, and I believe AKC and FCI have an agreement where the FCI doesn't enter America and AKC doesn't, practice outside of America because they're sister companies.
Yeah.
And that funny to me that the registries that created the breeds this way and kind of ruined the breeds, in my opinion, are now backtracking trying to fix their breed hundreds of years later. So I don't know how that's going to pan out. I mean, the Frenchies are a look of their own, and people are attracted to the Frenchies for the
Right.
French look. I mean, what are you going to do? Elongate the
They're very
muzzle?
distinctive.
I mean, how that's going to work for them. I don't see that. I mean, the Frenchies are not horrible dogs. I mean, they're pretty, I'm here. Lost their.
I guess it's me and you, man.
I,
Hey. Hey, we do have a question. Candy asked this, and I'm interested to know this too. You got some breedings coming up. I know you've jumped back into to breeding a little bit, and she was asking which ones do you look forward to the results more than others.
I like that question because I get so much flack for everything I do, and
Everything.
me to be able to explain a few things to people just so they understand. Like, number one, I started as Razor's Edge, and I started, truth be told, as an Amstaff breeder, and was pushed into the UKC world not by choice, but long story short, I got turned on a bunch of about and didn't get their pedigrees. AKC, of course, to single register them with the UKC. So never intended to be a UKC breeder, but it went that direction because I invested so much in my dogs, and that's the way I went. Razor's Edge was an American Pit Bull Terrier breeder. My claim to fame, my heyday, all those things were in the American Pit Bull Terrier. I was a Pit Bull Terrier breeder. I was Razor's Edge was my line. I had my look. I loved everything about it. I never sought to create something different. I didn't care to make a new breed. I didn't care to mix the breed. I only cared about my line and Razor's Edge, and I was loving life that way until that entity made some changes that really I just didn't agree with, and it kind of left a lot of us breeders who bred more of a bullier style pit bull,
Lucky
which
Maroon.
called for, in a place when they change your standard and then those dogs no longer fit. I mean, some breeders conformed, went with a more terrier look, and then some breeders like me, Pam Carter with Gaff Kennels. I mean, there's a few out there said, we're not going to conform. Pam turned around and started breeding Amstaffs, and me, I kind of just went in my own direction, just started dealing with people here in my backyard. My backyard became like, the hub for the Razor's Edge bloodline and part of the American Bully movement. But anyway, so I was Razor's Edge, and my Razor's Edge bloodline, the bloodline is in the American Pit Bull Terrier. Back in those days, if you saw a Razor's Edge dog, you would know it's a Razor's Edge dog. I mean, they were
I
very
remember.
cool. To me, that's the biggest thing. Bloodlines is you have to have a unique look that is your look, that is recognizable, and then you have to have generational consistency so that the following generations all still have the same look. To me, it doesn't necessarily mean the blood has to remain the same, because you always have to mix in something here and there to freshen the blood, to fix problems, things like that. But the deal is if you can still continue with the consistency of the look, then you're doing something. So that's what Razor's Edge was. Um, Razor's Edge is also a kennel. So, when I breed dogs, I put my Razor's Edge name on them, as every breeder does. So I get people all the time like, that's not Razor's Edge. How are you going to use this? It's not Razor's Edge. Well, first of all, Razor's Edge is many entities. One, bloodline in American Pit Bull Terrier. Two, it's my kennel. So, and then three, a lot of the dogs are always going to have a little bit of different blood in it anyway.
Yeah.
When I got into the American Bully, we went that direction. Obviously, we had to use some other things to make Razor's Edge an American Bully, and we tweaked a little bit of Gotti blood in there or whatever the case was. It was really us and them, the only two lines really existing in the foundation of the American Bully overall. And then I started to develop a new look in the American Bully. But then when I had to take on the ABKC, that took up most of my time, and I backed away from being an active breeder and trying to create a bloodline in the American Bully like I did in the American Pit Bull Terrier. And then from that point on, I've just dabbled. I've just been a guy that dabbles in little things. I can't not breed. I lose my mind if I'm not creating. I'm not a person I have to continue to create, no matter what it is.
I'm bored with that. Yeah, absolutely. Who do you think's been breeding basically like as long as you have when it comes to American Bullies?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know many people that are still breeding from when I started, because I started long before the American Bully. I started before Gotti. Gotti came around after the Raider days, and I can tell you this: Raider. I remember I was a pit bull in those days, and I was friends with Candace Eggert, who owned Candy's Azuma, Candy Kennels, and Azuma's daughter was the mother of Raider. And she was fighting with that guy back in those days because he wasn't supposed to breed to something other than her stuff. So anyway, long story, but I was a breeder back then. So I was breeding Razor's Edge, and as a successful breeder, I started in 1990, so long before a lot of these things began. So I wouldn't even compare myself to the history of an American Bully breeders, because most American Bully breeders weren't breeding back in those days. American Bully wasn't. The concept started in the early 2000s. The actual name and standards and all that started in the end of 2004. So, we're talking 14 years, after I was breeding, so I don't know who's still around, and what you all asked that question, I look forward to all my breedings. My breedings are more for fun. I like to see what I can create. And a lot of times I go around, my brain is not normal. I don't, and a lot of you on the dog world, you probably don't have normal brains either. So you can probably relate to my abnormalities. But, everything I do, I like to create, and like I said, I'll set up a fish tank and I'll spend months and months getting it to where it's unbelievably beautiful. And once it's there, I break the shit down and have to start all over again.
I need different coral.
Yeah. So that's the way my mind is. Or a lot of times I'll see dogs and I'm like, that's a gorgeous dog. And I got to figure out how they made that dog. And then once I can rebreed that dog in my brain, I'm satisfied. Okay, I could make that dog if I wanted to. So, I like to experiment with what's in the American Bully game right now. I'm not looking to create a bloodline again. I'm not looking, yes, I put Razor's Edge on my productions because I'm also a kennel. And that's what kennels do. We all do that. So I look forward to everything that I'm doing. All the breedings I have, I'm looking forward to. And it's new grounds for me. I'm dealing with dogs that, like Master Poe. I don't know Master Poe's blood. I've never worked with the blood. I don't know it. I that is a phenomenal looking pocket dog. I mean, there's so many. There's things. Yeah, there's things that you want to tweak, and I hope to tweak those things with my breeding. But I did that breeding with Oscar, and people jumped on me. How can you breed Oscar? He's overdone. He's this, blah 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 blah. And then you look at all the productions, and almost every production was a show dog except for one who was an incredible female, just like Oscar was, but every other one was a show dog, so I don't know. I'm looking forward to them all. And a lot of them are dogs. Like, I don't have many dogs anymore, and I have a lot of deals where I place dogs and I organize the breedings and, do all that and get my pick and still, help sell them. But I don't want to raise puppies no more. That's
a bit rough. That's a bit rough. Now, I do have a question for you. Speaking of bloodlines, we've asked this question to several people, and we get varying answers. So that I kind of enjoy that, but I can understand where it could be a little frustrating. bloodlines. When it comes to developing a bloodline, when do you feel you can honestly say that you have successfully created a bloodline? Is it however many generations, or is it something else a little bit more hyper specific, like a designated look, like
I can,
regardless of generation?
I can give you my answer of the way
Please,
I feel, because
100%.
prior to creating a bloodline, which was my dream, which I've done, um, I researched all kinds of breeders, and everything. And one of the biggest things to me was consistency. So when I would go to breeders and look at their dogs, if I didn't see consistency in what they had, I didn't purchase it, because I didn't know. I was looking for brood stock dogs in the creation of my bloodline. So if they didn't have consistency, then I didn't feel like I would be able to work with it, because I don't know the direction that the offspring were going to be. And consistency doesn't necessarily mean you like every part of it, but it means that their dogs over and over again have this look.
Yeah.
So for me, the biggest thing is that, number one, you have something unique. That's unique. That,
There we
yep,
go.
we all had a dog, but you want to look at it and like, there's something about these dogs that only look like these dogs. There's something a little bit
Yeah.
different about these dogs. And that's the first thing. The secondary thing is obviously the consistency. How many generations have this same look? How far can it go? You don't have a bloodline in 1 or 2 generations. You don't have a bloodline in 3. A bloodline is when you got that look that identifies you, that's unique to you, and then you can go generations after that and continue to carry that look. The funny thing is, a lot of people think that bloodline means it has to have the exact same blood every generation. The problem with that is, and we all see it, I'm not going to call out any names, but especially if you've been on the breed, when you go too far, you can't introduce something new, it becomes inbreeding. And then when it becomes inbreeding, you're starting to see other things pop up, whether it's weird traits, bad traits, health issues,
Excessive genes.
Yeah.
Oof.
there's all kinds of factors that do it. And you have to be able to introduce something into your blood every 3 to 4 generations to correct those things from happening. But the key to a good breeder is, can I bring something in and then the next generation still looks
Still
like
look the same.
Mm-hmm.
Have that look,
and
yeah.
that's where it's tricky. A lot of people break my old stuff down. Like, I've heard some idiots over the years, well, you use this, but you know what? My offspring didn't look like that. It didn't look like that. It still looked like everything else that I had. So that's how you know that you have a bloodline, because that consistency is still there.
Yeah.
After, so I don't think you should be so hyper focused on every dog in the pedigree having the same exact name or lineage, but that they're all closely related. They all have that unique look that you created as a breeder. That unique look can carry on for generations. That to me is a bloodline. So I don't think there's a true recipe for that. I don't think that's why when you read books about it, you don't really see clear answers,
You
because
got to do it.
yeah, you have to do and you have to see it. And in America Bully, we don't really have many people like that. I mean, I will tell you,
Yeah.
we all know Bashar's got a look that's very consistent. Whether you like it, you don't like it, that's not the point. The point is, he's had generations of consistency. When you look at a muscle
You see a
dog,
muscle tone, you
you
know
can
what it
say
is. Yeah.
it's a muscle tone dog.
Yeah.
I feel Robert Lee has kind of got that now too. Now you look at the bully market dogs, whether your thing or not your thing, you can look at him and say, that's a bully market
Yeah.
dog. So
Yeah.
I have
breeders
one, and every once in a while I'm looking at Lee's page and like I'll see his face, his body. Like I'm just like, oh, because
yeah,
he has bistro in his background, and while it's only once, there's that really crazy look that just keeps on popping up, and it's like looking at my dog on his timeline. I'm like,
yeah, well, but you see what I'm saying. I think somewhere in the mix, like the Sam and Khan and the Rocco and the Grim. I mean, they have it too, but have different directions of it. So that's why it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like some directions that are more Grim based, some that are more Rocco based. Rocco's still the dog behind those dogs, but you can see like they have a little But those are one that you can pretty much identify when you see one. So.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of that, it's hard. I mean, there's a few others here and there, but there's not many true bloodlines in the American Bully. But the problem with the American Bully too is that it's very closely related, especially when you're dealing with Dax strains. I mean, Dax flooded the blood in this breed,
Yeah.
good and bad.
Yeah.
In some ways it was good because it gave it a very identifiable look. In other ways, there's a lot of bad traits that came with it too. So a lot of health issues. So it's it's a double-edged sword, but it is what it is. It's he made his mark in the breed. So
Oh, definitely. And it's I think actually it was even Pham who actually called Dax a crux within the breed. Like he made such a deep impact,
is it
be
changing?
it good or bad. Like it was just one of those things that it changed the breed in and of itself in one sitting. And it was just crazy. Within one generation, so many dogs look different. I mean, Muggleston, this older
Yeah,
blood. You
Muggleston,
implement
but
Dax and it's changed the entire blood. Like I mean, I have old Muggleston, but if you were to compare him to like post Dax Muggleston, they don't look alike anymore. Like
no.
they changed entirely.
And the problem with Muggleston's went a lot of different directions. Like he had a lot of raised dogs. He had God, that's that big blue dog that he had that everybody bred to. That
Back in
dog
the
fought
day,
back
talking
in the
about back
day.
in the day.
Okay, bye,
Lobo,
Bruce.
Huh?
Lobo,
Lobo.
Lobo.
Yeah, Lobo. Lobo was a popular dog there. Lobo to me carried a watchdog kind of look though. So
He was a watchdog.
and there you go. Yeah. So yeah, he had more of that look. So Muggleston. I mean, no offense to the guy, but their blood wasn't that consistent. Like I mean, a
It
lot of
sure
people
wasn't.
Lobo, and that started a trend, but it didn't go
Yep.
very far. I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm just saying that the impact of it and the longevity of it wasn't really there. But I mean, he did his thing. I mean, Lobo was a beast. First time I seen Lobo, I was like, God damn, what is that? Like that's
140. 140 with like
Lobo's a
I
beast.
think he had like a 30-inch head, like 140, like a 30-inch head, something like that.
Yeah,
28.
it was up there. It was probably today. It was probably a 26. Back then, it was advertised as 30. But now that we
Yeah,
see,
that's what his advertised was.
yeah, I thought, I look back at my old pits. I'm like, man, I had monster heads and monster dogs, and now I'm looking at dogs here like, damn. Yeah, okay, well, that's what a real 28 looks like, But yeah, but I mean. But yeah, I mean, bloodline is difficult, and I think that's the Dax is probably where the difference came in the XL because Dax really doesn't bleed into the XL, and I think that was a changing point because he bleeds so heavy into the standard and pocket, but not in the XL, and I think that was the turning point where the XL kind of got left behind a little bit. When everybody else went this direction, they didn't because they didn't have that influence, but that's also a good thing, So, but yeah.
And what, Dave, I can relate to some of the things that you said. You said you started in the 90s. I started before that, but I started dealing with your razor's edge blood too, also. And I also, dabbled and got it, but I had a couple of puppies off of one guy himself. And the thing is that you created that blood, but you had somebody else that branched off of your blood. The dogs kind of look the same. Remember the Remy blood, the
Yeah,
Remy dogs,
100%.
and
Yeah.
they kind of branched off your line.
Oh yeah. We had that fight years ago because they were all edge dogs. So it's like but
Yeah, that's what.
But wait a minute.
hindsight now, though, I look back and Fabian was an incredible marketer. And the fact that there was that argument and thing like that, it helped everything in the end because it just drew more attention to the breed and drew more attention to the blood. So I look back now like it was a necessary thing. I mean, the way that went back then, but now I look back like, you know what? Okay, I didn't get credit for things that I thought I should be getting credit for, but at the same time, you know what? That it added another element to what we were doing that was appealing, and it ended up working. So respect that too. But I mean, I started before the '90s. I had game dogs before the '90s, and I had real game dogs. Like
Yeah, me too. That's how I started too. I
I
was
had
like,
plumber dogs. I don't know if you know Plumber's Alligator. I had his grandson.
yeah. Well,
I
I
had
actually started
dogs.
off in '82, but my first actual real registered pit bull was like 82, 3, 4, 5, 6, 87.
Yeah, okay. I had one then too, but my real first one was in 85, 86, and was no papers, no nothing. The worst dog I ever owned in my life, to be honest with you.
Hey man, and you know what though? I can remember all the things that happened in the dog shows too, man. Like just like I
Oh,
met you, I didn't know really who you was, showing you in UKC, and just like I said, I remember when brought us ABK. I mean UKC, but you bought us ABKC after the show one time. But I need a pair of them jeans, man. The Moblo jeans you were selling. Can you get a pair?
Yeah, man, not anymore. Put them on now. You probably like they probably bagged because back then we wearing back then people wearing 3Xs and you know how that
Yeah. Hey, Caleb, he
that
was
was the
throwing
fashion.
away free shirts. He was throwing away shirts. He wouldn't throw none of them jeans away. He wouldn't give us them jeans, boy.
Man,
Too away to do, and now it's too expensive to throw away the damn shirt. Shit.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Hey,
So
but
we can't
look,
afford to throw away nothing.
I'm
yeah.
gonna
Where?
ask you this too. Back then,
So all I'm throwing out now is gift certificates to buy this shit. Hey.
so look, so
Yeah.
when you bought us ABKC, first ABKC show, I was there. So you stopped showing dogs. And how did the group Elite Edge came about? How many members did you ever get up to?
I have no idea, but I will tell you this: if it wasn't for the Elite Edge, there wouldn't be an American Bully. And people argue it till the cows come home, but the Elite Edge message board is where the whole bully world started.
So
And
it
when
was. I was on it.
all that happened through the board, that board is what
He,
did it.
he
Yep.
had the T-shirt. He was part of the club.
Well, the Elite, honestly, because the concept of the Elite Edge that we were looking for a new market because we didn't have the UKC market anymore because we were not in that world. So we
Right.
had a lot of inventive people in that group, a lot of great minds in that group. Um, and what we did was we targeted a completely new audience. We tried to figure out who this would appeal to and how to get that in, and it did. It took off. I mean, we would go to, I don't know if you know what a dub shows were back in the day, but they were big car shows by Dub Magazine.
Mhm.
We there have booths there with the dogs. I mean, nightclubs. We would go in all kinds of clubs. They have, and bring the dogs in there. I had one club here,
Dang.
little row in the club. I
Oh
did
my God.
the VIP table, and we had all kinds of entertainers that would come through there. So the Elite Edge was great at marketing because we marketed this breed outside of the normal realm. I mean, if you went back in the days, we had ads in Dog Fancy, Dog World, and it was unheard of. A lot of
Yeah.
these. So if it weren't for the Elite Edge, and I'll give everybody credit. I mean, obviously the Gotti line came in and joined up, and that is truly Gotti and Edge together, and Elite Edge and the Gotti guys and all that together is what actually turned this into its own breed. But the Elite Edge itself, that group, is really what propelled the movement. It's where all the concepts came together on that board, where all the barbecues and shows and everything were all organized through the Elite Edge message board. So, I mean, the Elite Edge was influential. Atomic Dog magazine was all Elite Edge
Yeah.
member. Low Jeans, all Elite Edge member owned. ABKC, all Elite Edge member created, owned. It's just like everything started through the Elite Edge message board.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for the Elite Edge, we would not be where we are today with the American Bully. I mean, we wouldn't be because the moves that they made, our group made, were the moves that put this breed into its own spotlight and got the attention. And that's, where everything grew from. So
Yeah.
get
And,
a million
and
people that can claim credit for this, million people that done their parts, everything. But that particular entity, without that entity, the American Bully doesn't exist.
yeah.
So
And you know what? I learned so much off of that forum, man. I learned so much. You had
we
pedigrees on
all
there
did.
that post everything. Man, it was
Everything,
it was really
everything.
nice.
That's where the whole. Remember the day that the breed name. I've
Yep.
heard everybody argue though. We all call the dogs bullies, but the breed name was created on that board. We had a poll on the board, and we said we need to come up with a name. I said, and we can no longer. This isn't a pit bull. These aren't fighting dogs. They're not in a pit. We bred the terrier traits completely out of it, so it's not really a
Yeah.
dog. Terrier really should be in his name. And that day on the board, I remember there's names like Patriot this and that. They off. And truth be told, I don't know who actually wrote American Bully, but once that name was out there, we, especially the lead edge, we said, this is it. This is
Yeah.
what we're looking for. And when ABKC started, that's how that all started, using that name in the standards. And truth be told, I'm behind the scenes. So I see the Elite Edge, only the Elite Edge members really were the original people to register with ABKC. We weren't really getting many registrations. And then we reached out to Richard Barajas and Rodney Bingley in California and spoke to them. They said, we'll get on board. We want to do this too. And, you know, Richard wanted to bring his dogs. And so they came into it. But again, like I said, the Elite Edge it was essential. Without the Elite Edge, there's no American Bully.
Yeah.
So, you know, it would have just gone to the wayside. Cali did their thing, Gotti did their thing, but it kind of was more of a street thing that was popular in that environment, you know, but it wasn't mainstream, you know. And same with Edge, you know, we had our own niche market of people all over the United States. It wasn't, you know, mainstream, you know, beyond that, but that whole Elite Edge board and the whole community growing and coming together and all the things behind it, that's really what propelled the breed. So, yeah.
I wish it was still going on today, man. Because people could have grasped a lot of knowledge, you know, just from
Yeah.
that. They
Yeah.
can see how it started, and you know, just see like people just communicating and talk. You know, I wish it was still, you know, alive.
Well, it was pure. It was very pure in those days, and it was a necessity because you had a lot of people that had things that had nowhere to go. So
Yeah.
it was, I mean, it was the necessity of it, the need for it, and all that were there. Now, you know, we're in a different world now. And
Yeah.
Facebook killed. Once Facebook came out, MSN died, all that stuff died. I mean,
Uh-huh.
unfortunately, you can't go back, but you know, I mean, part of it was this is what we were trying to do anyway. So the
Yeah.
dream really was to create a breed and really make it popular around the world and do all that. So, you know, it worked. It's just we're no longer that tight knit thing anymore because it grew outside of that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're still small, man. And that's the thing another thing, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to offend any of your audience or anything, but I just remind people like we really still are a small breed. And when you really start taking this thing in a bunch of different directions, it's going to do harm. And I think we're finally starting to see by pulling the breed in all these different ways, what it's doing is you're separating the community, you're separating the identity. And then
Yep.
once you do all of that, what do you have left? And then you throw that into a period of time now, like we had that high of the pandemic where dogs were extremely valuable. It became the thing
Yeah.
that it would cause a huge influx of just garbage. You know, that was bound to crash. So that crashed, you know, and then with that crashing, then you had a period of a declining economy. Now you have a new economy with uncertainty. You know, I'm not political either way. I'm just state things how they are. And
Yeah.
all of these things and the accumulation of all of these things really have hurt the dog market, period. Like we are not in the best time right now for dog sales. I mean, we all see it. We all know it. I mean, the shows are smaller. The breeding's
Mhm.
a lot less than you've ever seen before.
Yeah. People are skipping breedings because the market's dry.
People are really feeling it right now. And then now you're starting to see, okay, when it times like this is when you really realize like, wow, we're not as big as we thought we were. We're in a niche market. We're in a breed that's only 20 years. It's very young. It hasn't truly gained its identity. As much as we feel it went global, it really hasn't. It's gone global in a niche market, but it hasn't. Like there's so many people that have no idea what the American Bully is. You know, we haven't even got there yet. And once we start taking it and pulling it in all these different directions with all these different registries and even different standards and different names and all these different things, it's like you're breaking it down before it even really truly had its chance to really grow and establish. And it's hurting it. And I've said it over again, and people, you know, look at, oh, you know, we don't want to unite the community or we want to separate. No, these things came after. These things separated the community, not us. And it's like, again, I've explained it's not financial to me. I mean, in my life, I did everything I wanted to do. I created a bloodline. I did everything I want to do. I've done. I've accomplished it. I'm happy. I'm good. you know, I'll continue to work for ABKC because I love the community. I love the breed. And that's my whole goal. It's just that the breed has longevity 100 years down the road, that it still exists, you know. And the way it is right now, it's not going to, because if we continue to pull it in all these different directions, and I know, you know, like everybody's like, well, I like to support this, or this guy's my friend, or, you know, like I want to do something. I just, you know, like it was close to my home, and I get all that. But a lot of these people, they all started in ABKC and they left ABKC too soon, in my opinion. And I think pulling it in all these different directions, I think we're finally starting to say, okay, now we see, yeah, it is hurting the breed. It is hurting the community, and it is in a way devaluing our dogs. So that's my own personal feeling. But, you know, I don't want to offend any of your clientele, because I know you have people from all over that watch and support you all, but that's my personal feeling, you know.
Well, that's why we have you on, Dave. I mean, this is incredibly important for the community to hear, because they hear so much from so many other parties, but to hear from you is a massive difference, because of the ABKC. And, you know, it's just one of those things where, again, to have you on our show on more than one occasion, by the way. So again, thank you for that. It's just so important. It's so important for the people to hear from you in more capacity than just, let's talk about where nationals is, or let's talk about this new thing, but to talk dogs, to talk the history of the breed, where you believe it was heading, where it's been heading, and just this is crucial stuff, very crucial
But
stuff. So I think it's incredibly important that you talk about it.
that's the problem with the breed, is that we started out with pit bulls, you know, and in order for us to be a different breed, we needed a different breed. So we had to make changes. We had to. We couldn't just
Absolutely.
fall into where we were, because we were pit bulls exiled from its own registry, and exiled for no other reason than some breeders decided to change the standard, you know. So it's kind of, so what we're going to do. So when we decided to create a new breed, you know, we had to make some changes in the dogs. I mean, we really did. It needed an identity, like I said with bloodlines. For bloodlines, you need a unique identity. Well, for a breed, you have to have a unique identity. You have to have something that is different than other breeds to make your breed that. And it's not just physical attributes, it's temperament, it's all aspects of it, every part of your standard, you know, every part of breed type. It has to be unique. So we had to make adjustments in order for this to become its own unique breed. And that's not something that happens overnight. And you get people fighting like, oh, yeah, but we started this way. Yes, but we started with pit bulls.
Yeah.
Those were pit bulls. We had to go further, and we had to make changes. And we had, and like I said, temperament, you know, physical attributes. We had to make these changes in order for it to be a breed. Dax was a big influence, like we all know. But it's more than just that. It's a whole lot of things, and we weren't there yet. And I get old people that argue with me that feel like we were there. No, we were with pit bulls. I have to remind people, in 2000, we all had pit bulls. In 2002, we all had pit bulls. In 2003, 4, we all had pit bulls. The original dogs that made up the brood stock, the stud books in 2004 and 5 were pit bulls. You know, we had to do something, and it was the influence of Gotti mixing with Edge and whatever. You know, I don't want to stories that aren't my personal story. I never wanted to, but those changes gave this breed a unique look. And when that happened, we had to solidify that, and you know, and then it started reverting back, and we had to like come out with sketches and drawings and explain like, this is the end goal. This is
You had to create the actual breed standard. Yeah.
Yeah, you needed all those things, and you needed the time to get there. You needed time for breeders to slowly work their way there. Finally, we're there, but now we're there, but not quality there. So now we have the look. Now when people say, well, how far can you go? How much is too much? Well, this past year's nationals, we know how far you can go. We know where the line is now. We know that this is the line of how much we can put on these dogs and how far we can go with the look to where it's not too much. We know that now. So that's a great thing. So now we have all of these things. So now really it's going to take another 5 or 6 years really to get the quality there. And that's the commitment of true breeders. That's part of the reason also why we did that premium pedigree, because this got to be there. Um, but you know, what I mean, like you have to have these things. So it's like, you know, we're in a phase where okay, we understand the breeds look now, but we need to see more quality versions of it now. That's where we are, and we need to see healthy versions of it because it doesn't do any good to have a breed that lives 5 or 6 years and dies. You know, like those things only get worse and worse and worse. You know what I mean? As time goes on, so you gotta clean that up. You know, so we're in a phase right now where we need to clean the health, and we need to focus on producing quality American bullies that fit what the standard is. You know, and that's why I say it's too young to put in different directions. We haven't even gotten to the finish line yet. You know, so.
So when we're talking about correcting issues, a lot of people, and it's been on our show, on other platforms as well. They've always kind of gone back to the argument that classic class dogs are I just really, this is just alliteration. The classic class is the cleanup crew for the breed.
A lot of C's, a lot of C's.
You know,
Wow.
she shows.
Right?
Yeah, the, the classic class is difficult because, yes, it is the cleanup crew for the breed. That's true, 100% true. And then it's also become a dumping ground for the subpar standards, which is not the way it's supposed to be. It's not it's not subpar standard. The classic dogs are based on the original stuff, and it has its place in the breed. In the future, eventually, probably it should be its own breed, but it's way too young to remove that element at this moment and give it its own place outside of Pocket, Standard, and XL. The thing about it is we're breeding a lot of extremities on our dogs, and you have to be able to clean that up without losing the look.
I agree.
And that is what the classic can do. Also, a gorgeous classic is gorgeous. I mean, there is nothing bad.
Really
Why looked at as a derogatory term? It's not. A classic dog is a classic American Bully is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But the thing about the classic is, being that it's a clean dog like that, it should be the best quality in the ring. Like, you shouldn't have classics in the ring that are subpar. You shouldn't have classics in the ring with serious faults and things like that. No, because that's been established long ago, and they're very structurally sound dogs. So a classic dog, in my opinion, I would critique it even more in the ring because its sole purpose truly is stability, you know, and that's a huge factor. Health and stability, function, all of these things that it brings to the table, and those are the foundation things that'll continue a breed in the future. Those are the things that give your breed longevity, you know. So it is 100% needed in the breed, and instead of it being looked at as a derogatory thing or as a dumping ground for subpar standard dogs, it needs to be put on a pedestal and looked at like, this is the purity of what we need. Like, when we need a structurally sound dog to breed to, when we need to bring it back, when we need to clean it up, when we need to fix the health issues, when we need these things, we have this here for that. So it should be looked at completely different than it's looked at.
Yeah, heavily scrutinized. Now, this is going to feel weird to answer, and you don't have to. You don't have to.
Hey,
Because this is mainly for me.
Amanda, ask the question. Don't make it so weird. Just ask the question.
It's all good.
Is the ultimate intention eventually to utilize the classic to clean up those overdone traits that have gone too far, to clean up the messes, so to speak? Eventually, is the goal to no longer need the classic class to like completely bridge that gap between standard and classic, to eventually to the point where there's just Pocket, standard, and then Excel?
Yeah, 100% yes, but it doesn't mean that becomes obsolete, because in its own realm, it's gorgeous, you know. So it doesn't become obsolete; it becomes unique at that point. And when I say unique, I mean that at some point it's its own thing, and not with the other three varieties. Some point in this far off future, even the varieties should be separated to where they're not breedable together, you know.
Yeah, like poodles.
Yeah, just like the poodles. You got your what, I don't know, standard. You got your giant. You got your whatever the three varieties.
Little smokers,
Um,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah, same thing. They were started as varieties, and later on they were separated as breeds, and that's the ultimate goal for the breed way down the road. Though I mean, like we're talking 30, 40 years down the road because we, like I said, we're not even at the end goal with where we are. The classic probably would be separated prior to the three varieties separating themselves. But again, we're years away from that because obviously, if you remove the classic dogs now from the brood stock for the other dogs, it's not we don't have it. We don't have the gene pool
Right.
to do. It'll
Right.
fall 4 or 5 years. You know, it's not doubtful it'd make it 10 years without something like that. So yes, but it's not its sole purpose. I mean, it has its own purpose in itself. I mean, it in itself is a gorgeous dog, and should be, you know, reveled in that, you know, because it's a gorgeous dog. So yeah, I mean, what you said is true, but we're talking a long way away. You know, we're still 10, 15 years from that one, you know.
Yeah. All
That's
right, so Dave, I got a question for you. So I've seen it the last couple days. You know, you say you're scrutinized for everything, which you absolutely are. You handle it very, very well. Um, so the breed standard, it was written in 2004 and then changed in
2014.
okay. So has there been any changes since then? And do you see an actual breed standard change coming in the future?
Okay, don't quote me on dates, please. I'm back, but I give you the times, but not maybe the exact dates. 2004, the standard was written.
Yeah.
2007 or 8, the varieties were added.
Mhm.
Okay.
XL, Pocket, and Classic, and Extreme. Um, 2000 something, 14 was the first ever amended it since then, and
Okay.
we decided that really there wasn't a need for Extreme because the breed has extreme traits, and all of the traits that we were liking from that really should exist within the varieties, the three varieties, not Classic. So we didn't technically remove it. We rolled it into the three varieties, the desirable traits without the not desirable traits, because a lot of those dogs were not quality dogs and they were falling, you know, there's a lot of dogs just flawed up, you know what I mean? So we like, you know, the traits that we like, we really rolled them into it. So that was when the standard changed. It was the rolling of the extreme variety into those three, and then added more flaws and more DQs at that time. So we actually tightened the standard. We made it, like I said, we made more flaws to the breed and things like that. And it has not changed ever since then. This year, with the part of the Merle, is where we added the change, the temporary thing until the end of the year. And it basically just took Merles off from being a DQ in the shows to being able to show. That's it. There won't be many changes. The changes you will see moving forward are only going to be some flaws will be considered severe flaws. Some severe flaws will be considered DQs. Um,
Woo.
like for instance, uh, the breed says when you talk about the coat,
Yeah.
you know what it should be, but it also says that long hair is a flaw. I mean, a severe flaw, and curly and wavy hair is a flaw. And a lot of the dogs, if you bred the original dogs, there were dogs with a little bit of wavy hair. We've all seen them here and there in the back of their neck, you know, but it's something that there are no fluffy bullies, and there's not gonna, you know, I mean, nothing like that. So, but long hair would be considered a DQ, you know, and that's a change that we will make. Curly and wavy hair will be pushed over to severe flaw or DQ. Rye jaw will move from a flaw over to severe flaw and then eventually moving over to DQ. So the only change really going to see is it getting stricter. You're going to see some flaws move to severe flaws, some severe flaws move to DQs, and as time goes on, you'll see more changes in that type of a direction.
Mhm.
Okay.
Nothing changing the look of the dogs or anything like
Yeah.
that. No, it's just tightening up because as the dog gets older, it's time to say, okay, now, you know, this shouldn't be a flaw anymore. This should be a severe flaw, or no, this should be a DQ now at this stage. So that's all you'll ever see. And like I mentioned, obviously the coat ones are changing, the ride jaw one's changing. That'll all be for 2026. And further down the road in the future, there'll be more that might become more severe or become DQs.
Yeah.
No,
Because
thanks
I
for
know
hitting on those
the
two because
ride
those
jaw.
the
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, hush, Amanda, hush, Amanda. Those are the two that I've actually seen being talked about.
Hmm.
Amanda, is there an issue? Is there an issue, Amanda? I'm sorry, fellas, but Amanda, is there an issue?
Oh no, you're feeling yourself. You go on ahead, sweetheart. You were late anyway, so you know what? Go ahead and catch up.
Oh my gosh. But the ride jaw, to hit on that specifically, I've seen that being talked about, especially after this last show. I thought this last show was incredible. I can't stand when people leave and they want to talk about a certain thing. But was the ride jaw ever on the DQ just to clarify that and
No,
then move
no,
to okay, thank you.
no,
Thank you.
no, not in our breed. No, it was in the OD. It's in the OD that
Because
never.
I mean,
And you
that's
can.
really a
And the thing
bulldog
is,
trait. Ride jaw.
you can argue that it's time for something to be stricter, and that's fine. You can argue that, and I'll agree on a lot of things with that. Um, a breed isn't made overnight, and it is a process. And it's a process of creating a breed and then perfecting a breed. And we are in the process in between, somewhere in between creation and perfection. And as you get towards the perfection end is when things become stricter. So you can't blame a judge for choosing a dog with a flaw that's better everywhere else over another dog that I'm sure also has a flaw if it's listed as a flaw. You can disagree that it shouldn't be listed as a flaw, it should be more severe. Fine, that's a disagreement. But you can't blame a scenario when it's accepted in its way that it's accepted. So I mean, and the argument is should a ride jaw in our breed at this stage become a DQ? My feeling is yes, but the fact that it's always been listed as a flaw, technically it should probably move to severe flaw for a period of time before it moves to DQ. And all the breeders of breeds, they need time. So when you make a change, you have to give breeders time to adjust to the change, and that's the way things are going to go, and that's one of the things that will change. But no, it was always listed as a flaw. So,
Yeah.
and it's still at the moment a flaw, but it will be in 2026 move to the next stage.
Good.
No,
Oh,
thank you for
fantastic. Just like,
clarifying that. And I like that. I like that you're not going from a flaw to a DQ because that would be like, yeah, that's tough to go from
Yeah.
one thing to an extreme opposite of that. So I like that change.
And you also got to realize, like, when you're comparing our breed to other breeds and other breed standards, in most cases, we're talking breeds that have been around over 100 years. They've had years to adjust their standards. Their original
Yeah.
standards are never the same as their final, because you have to create a breed. And again, you have to build a breed, grow a breed, and eventually perfect a breed. And that's a
Yeah.
process, and not an overnight.
very long.
So you might look at a breed standard and say, well, this is in here and it should be in here. Well, that breed's been around for 200 years. They had a chance
Yeah.
that breed. And we are dealing with a breed that's prone to jaw issues. We are dealing with a breed prone to underbites and things like that. And I still think majority of the breed still has underbites. So it's like we still got to deal with that. We still got to get breeders to get that scissor bite or correct bite on these dogs. So we're process, and it's a flaw, but it will be a severe flaw, and it will eventually be a DQ. I mean, as will when you look at, I mean, it's a long list of flaws in the American Bully, and the
Yeah.
problem is every dog that's in the ring has some of them. So
Yeah.
I say this over and over again: you can create a flawless dog. You can't create a perfect dog because perfection is an opinion. Flawless, the fact, and you can
That
create
sounds, I like that.
time,
I like
and that
that.
once these flaws, we've had enough time to start getting better, then those flaws need to move over to the next level, whether it's considered severity or whether it's considered DQ. But yes, that's the changes that you'll see in the future.
No, I'm here for it. No, and I think you're right. It's I mean, there's certain things that come along with that more, bulldog look that are obviously a little on the undesirable side, but you can't. It's going to take generations to breed that
Yeah.
out and still maintain a lot of that look. Because I mean, Ryejaw is one of the heavy factors in that, because you've got a lot of those more bulldog, head styles that come along with Ryejaw, unfortunately. And so it's like, to breed that out, it's going to take several generations. So I like that you're kind of weaning it into that general category of a serious fall and then eventually a DQ along the line. So I like it.
All right, good deal. And that's where we are. Situation you're referring to, but that's pretty much the answer to that question. Like, yeah, that will become a DQ at some point, but by 2026 it will be moved to severe fall.
Whew.
I like it.
I love it.
Yes. And
Hey, I know when I got on, y'all were talking about nationals and you were talking about Savannah, things like that that's coming up. I just want to give you a comment. I love what you did. You're completely a registry for the people and you're listening to the people. And I like that. So every other year, just to clarify, every other year it's going to be based in Houston. And then the other years it's going to be decision based with the community like you did this year with Savannah.
every year,
Is that
yeah,
what's like?
that is the plan. Although I'm still gonna try to convince the community to let us stay in Houston, but I'll keep fighting. So,
I
and
don't
that's
blame you.
about ABKC. We are a community-based registry, and there's many times over the years that what I felt didn't outweigh what the community felt. Like the Merle thing. Like I never even voted to be a DQ in the show, and the community did. And I got outvoted. So, and in the case of nationals, there's too many people that really wanted to see it move again, versus I just wanted to keep it in Houston. So, the community, we listen and we do act.
Yeah.
So,
No,
but the
that's awesome
community
that
is
you don't
also
use your vetoing power to veto that. Like you're listening to the community, and
Right.
so I commend you for that.
and the
Yeah. Being flexible.
always right, because there's sometimes they don't know all the factors. Sometimes you don't know. Like, I'll give you a Las Vegas is a great place to go. It's a fun place. It's all that. It's not a dog town. If the weather's not great for dogs, there's not a big dog community there. So it's not a great idea for nationals, because yeah, it's a great idea to go to nationals and gamble and hang out and do all the things, but it's not it's a difficult place to get to for dogs. And so it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I would love to go to Las Vegas too, but I don't know about dogs. It's not a very dog friendly Las Vegas. And
Yeah.
you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Like, you have people there and all of a sudden they're snatching up people's dogs, and there's this or that, or
Huh?
dogs are dying, and because it's 100
Yeah.
degrees, like, you got to be careful, so.
Well, hell, and the same thing can be said about the Kansas City area. There are actually several counties within that Kansas City metro area that have breed-specific legislation that they haven't dropped yet. So it's like
Dade
you got to take that into consideration too. So like Kansas City almost knocks itself out of the running for that alone.
Exactly. So there's factors sometimes that prevent you from, being able to do something successfully. So yeah. But yeah, Houston. Just keep pushing for Houston. I love it. So.
I'm with you.
I'm
I
down with
like it.
Houston. When you changed it up, I had to like recalculate. It's just like the navigation being like recalculating. It's like, but Houston, yeah, Houston. We have a repertoire with Houston, so I'm with you on that endeavor. But it is kind of fun to shake it up a bit. So I'm kind of on the fence. We'll see how this one goes.
Let's see. It's a funny year too. We're entering a year where it's not the best year for dog shows. And we're moving it to a new location in the same year. I'll tell you what. I rented. Regina really runs national, so she really deserves the credit for all that. But we rented 2 halls because the venue in it's kind of Houston's huge, and I think that's
Yeah, it is.
square feet. I think is the size of Houston, or 90,000 square feet. It's a big
Wow.
venue, and the venues in the halls over there are like in the 40s and 50,000 square feet. They're in that range between 40 and 50, and we didn't know what to do, so we rented 2 halls. And it's like, and me and Regina keep going back and forth because we should release the booths next week, and that's what I should have announced this earlier, but next week is what we're shooting for. The problem is at the moment we have 3 different layouts. We have a layout using both venues, both halls, and a layout using Hall C and a layout using Hall D. And we kind of need to figure out which one we're going to release first. And then if there's enough of a thing, then maybe we open up to both, maybe we don't. So we're playing it safe because we don't know, like when you move it to a new location, you don't know how big it's going to be. And then this year isn't the greatest year, although there's still a lot of dogs out there. And I think it's the best year because there's no, like every year you have some dogs, like, that dog's probably going to win or going to be a contender.
Oh yeah, there's so many.
All over the place.
Wide open.
And there's some hot international dogs coming too. So it's like it's a gamble this year, and it's going to be fun because it's anyone's game this year. You know, there isn't any.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see. I mean, we have dogs truly coming from Philippines, from
Oh,
Europe,
yeah.
America. I mean, we have some dogs that
Golly.
nice. Yeah, and this is the year of the XL. You know, so
Oh,
Yeah.
the XLs really come and show off, and it's the first opportunity for the Merles. So we'll see.
Oh.
You know, expect big numbers from that, but I expect there to be some good quality ones there too. There better be. If they want to keep
Hey, listen, I ain't even gonna be mad. I ain't even gonna be mad considering some of them. But I do have a question about this upcoming nationals. When do you think you're gonna announce the judges?
So we have a list of judges,
Mhm.
and we kind of do like a potluck thing, and we have some. We try to mix up international and U.S. so it's not the same things that you're used to seeing. Um, we don't know yet because we're waiting on a visa to see if it gets a. Again, man, this is an interesting. It's an interesting year, and visas are not as easy as they have been. So we're kind of waiting on that to see if it goes through, and then we can decide. And if it doesn't, then we have to flip things around. So we're probably let's the boost and let's get. And then
We'll
we'll.
start with booze. No, I'm here for it. I love me a good international judge. Again, like we've said it a few times, but we really loved
I think is we have some
Joaquin.
very deserving
Mhm.
American-based judges, very
Mhm.
deserving, been on the list for a while and hasn't played in, but we do like to mix and match. You know, we like to at least give you
Yeah.
one or the other, you know,
I like it.
yeah. So, and it's, you know, we'll see. It'll be hopefully soon. I mean, it has to be somewhat soon because time's going like that. Damn, summer just ended. Hard.
September is about to roll around.
God, man, I don't even remember August.
Man. Hey, Dave,
I
I
don't
got a
even know when
question. Derek and Missy actually came on here and they were asking about the Merles, and I know we just touched on that again. So what is going to be the deciding factor if that's going to go on? And when is that decision going to be made?
That'll be at the beginning of the year also, like we said. I mean, as of right now, we're not seeing any issues, so I don't foresee that being overturned. I mean, I
Okay.
don't. You're seeing quality. I just hope we continue to see quality dogs and more of them because they're there. They're out there. I mean, I've seen them. I mean, they're there for sure. So
Yeah.
hopefully they turn up at nationals. Bring them quality Merles out to nationals. Let's see it. Don't bring them other ones. I don't want to see them. I'm sorry.
Don't bring no train wrecks.
Yeah,
Listen,
I
we don't
don't
make
want to see that.
exceptions.
Oh my
I had some
Oh,
gosh.
man.
want to be at the show and they're like, "What do you think about Merle?" I mean, I wanted to say, "What is it?" You know, like.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not against that. I mean, we have beautiful Merles, and there's some
Yeah.
great, but they need to be good quality American bullies to put them in the ring. You know, so. But luckily, we
Yeah.
haven't seen any of that. You know, I saw that more on the fun show side, not on the ring
Yeah,
side.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not really an advocate for fun shows. I no offense to anybody out there, but I think fun shows, it's just it opens up a platform for things that really probably aren't quality, you know, and that's not a good. And you're awarding things that really have health defects and
yeah.
just don't really have an identity or a breed and things like that. You're not helping anything, and I'm not really a fan of that. I mean, and again, like you're I don't know how many of y'all are sports parents, but you know the deal. Like, I mean, I'm not into this participation award stuff. I think you're out
Thank
there
you.
competition, the best of the best, and you know that's why I
There's
don't mind
one
that.
first place. There's one first place.
There's
Don't
only
give
one.
them
If you're not
second,
first, you're
third,
last.
And
Well,
fourth.
what?
well,
90%
Dave, I
of
think
the
you might
people.
actually appreciate this, though, Dave. Is like, so the three of us, we actually judged a fun show in Louisville, Kentucky, the Pull Up or Shut Up event, and I think you'd have been proud of the fact, like, we ran it like a confirmation show. Like, we were, in spite of the category being something like exotic or anything along those lines, like, we were really dissecting the dogs to make sure that, like, the dogs were functional. They, they could move well, and like it was.
I, I I respect that, but the thing is, confirmation show exists, so there's no need for that. They should be in that confirmation show. That's the point of the confirmation show. So it's I don't know. I'm a little bit different. That's like when people argue all the time about should our judges be able to show or not be able to show? I'm like, I want to compete with the best when I show. So when I'm out there, I don't care. Bring on your best. Bring on your judge. Bring on whoever you got. I don't care because I want to compete against. I don't want to go out there with, so-so dogs and whatever. I want to go out there with the very best. I don't feel like if I'm competing, I don't feel like I've gained anything if I didn't have competition, and I want to go against whatever I can go against, I mean, even like in pickup games and things like that, I always prefer the team that wasn't the dominating team. You know what I mean? Because I want to get out there and fight and see what I can do.
Yeah.
That's same in the dog shows. So I'm all for anybody getting out there and showing. I mean, I know my judges don't really care who's behind the leash. So it's like, if you're intimidated because you think that this person knows this person, I mean, we're in the bully world. Everybody knows everybody in some kind of way. So I don't think it's no different because he's a judge, she's a handler, he's a breeder. Nah, this is a niche market. We all kind of can connect the dots some way or another to somebody else. So the politic thing, in my opinion, can go out the window. I want to compete with the best, and whoever that is, bring them on. I will still compete, but unfortunately, I think that my position is a little bit too far to be political to be able to get out there in the ring. But
if you came in the ring, Lord, geez, everyone would be like, oh, that would be the highlight of Facebook for the next month.
I'm telling you, y'all wouldn't stand a chance. It wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair.
Don't tell Chris that, because if he got in the ring with you, he'd be flipping tables if he lost. Like, he'd be upset.
I love it.
It's getting to where I could barely bend over for the dog anyway. My dog
don't get in the ring.
Don't
get in the ring.
Yeah, you breed smaller dogs. Like, what are you doing to yourself? Why are you doing that?
Ain't no mini pocket, none of that stuff for me. I ain't going that direction. I can't get down that low. So yeah.
He'll be knelt down next to the dog.
I'm sure I don't know how to stack by himself because I ain't moving the legs.
He got a free stack like
Oh man.
No, I'm always really impressed. I will say that I'm always really impressed when someone is able to get their dog to roll into a perfect stack, just naturally. They don't have to make very, very many adjustments any at all. They just roll into.
That's a serious talent. And I always hear this thing like the handlers always win. You shouldn't have prefer. The thing about it is, no, it's not always true. But number one, handlers handle more dogs, so that's already odds of having a chance of winning is better. Number two, handlers should be picking the better dogs because that's what they want to try to win with. People with really good dogs tend to use a handler because the handler knows how to handle better than them. And then back on that, handlers know how to work the dogs. They know how to move the dogs. They know how to stack the dogs. They know how to make the dog at its best and display it at its best so that it can be evaluated at its best. So, I mean,
100%.
You can never blame a. You just handle better. That's all. Get out there and practice. I mean, they weren't all handlers from birth. They learned.
Right.
They did. If you think that you can't beat a handler, then either pay a handler or train yourself to be as good as a handler. And that's when that's the way it should be in my mind. But yeah.
No, I agree with that.
And I really do enjoy your all show. You all are keep it fun. You keep it light. I mean, well, we went for blood a few times here tonight, but no, not really. But
just to Amanda, it's only geared towards her.
It's my fault.
Her, I call no names.
Oh yeah, I will. I did.
What do we do?
No one takes you seriously, Caleb. It's fine. You can say whatever you want, Pumpkin.
No, I'm just playing. I don't fear any topic. I got my trolls out there, and you got people that like to change things up or maybe don't even agree. That's fine. I really don't care. I mean, I'm always going to tell it how it is and the best that we can do. And we're never perfect. Nobody's perfect in the world, and we learn every day. And if you don't listen, you don't learn. So
absolutely.
I mean, do our best at listening to our community, and I'm glad you have shows like this. I'm glad that you keep the essence of what we were about. I mean, the best thing about this community and about this breed, and sometimes we always need to step back and reflect, was that it brought people together, and it brought people together in ways that nothing ever has in this world. I mean, beyond, I mean, it doesn't matter in our world. we're all here for the love of the dog. So it doesn't matter race, religion, region, all of these things. We're one big family. And that to me is
Absolutely.
the best thing ever in this, is that we're here for the dogs and we all love each other and we all respect each other. So sometimes the community grows beyond the essence, and sometimes things get out of hand and people just get crazy, and you got to step back, like, just be happy. I mean, everybody in this got into it for some reason that brought them something good, whether it was your companion, which is the essence of the breed, whether it was finances and you made money as a breeder, whether it was something fun for you to do, something that you could do with your family, whether it was a new outlet that now you've grown up and you got kids and you can come out there and do something that still fits the personality, but now fits your new world. Whatever it is, it brought you something good. And instead of looking back and fighting and hating on each other and doing all this stuff, sometimes you got to step back, like, actually, you know what, this brought some good into my world in one way or another. And that's what it was all about. So we need to reflect on that at times and just get back to that. When people start getting ugly and angry, that's not what the Blue World's about. It ain't about that. It's about the good things that brought you into it, and the good things you got out of it. So, and I like this show because the way you all do it, it represents the essence of what this community really is. So I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
We
Maybe that
appreciate you.
means more
We
than you
appreciate you
know.
coming on again.
No worries, but I gotta go to bed because
That's
Yeah.
it's about 2 hours
what
past.
time is it Eastern time? Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Dave. Again, man, having you on here is always a pleasure. And again, you just, man, you blew us all away. So I'm really happy that you decided to take a chance to come on. Maybe coming up here soon after booths drop and everything, we can touch base again, see if you want to come on and we talk booth layout if that changes ultimately. So we'd love to hear from you again. But either way, thank you so much again for coming on with us tonight.
Thank you all.
Absolutely.
Thanks to everybody in the community. So we'll see
All
everybody
right,
next.
man.
All right.
Good
Appreciate
night,
y'all.
man.
Y'all take care.
Good night.
All right.
All
Peace.
right, you guys. Have a blessed night.